We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that. It just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year it's just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
Okay, welcome out into the middle here at the Cooper Associates County Ground in Taunton. It's finals day. We've already seen Surrey triumph in the first semi-final, beating Bears by 3 wickets to get into the final, where they'll meet either the Blaze or Lancashire Thunder, and Lancashire Thunder have won the toss. Ellie Threlkeld is their captain. Ellie, what have you decided to do and why?
We decided to have a bowl. I think we've obviously got a really good bowling attack. Conditions suited for that, so hopefully take some early wickets in the power play and put them under pressure.
What have you learnt from the pitch in that first semi-final? What's going to be key here?
Yeah, it looked fairly difficult to bat on early, so again, reason why we chose to bowl. Yeah, it looked really hard and you kept the stumps in place, so that's what we'll be looking to do, I think. Yeah,
and just finally, finals day, always exciting. I mean, you triumphed by well over 100 runs in the quarter-final. Is it the same team that you've got?
Yeah, exactly the same team. And yeah, gone well in the sort of group stages up until now, so hopefully looking to continue that momentum and have a good day today.
Enjoy the day. Thanks for your time. So that's Ellie, who is the captain of Lancashire Thunder. Kirsty Gordon is the Blaze captain. Kirsty, good to see you. Lost the toss, unfortunately. Does that change your approach?
Not really. Probably would have had a bowl as well had I won, but we spoke at length earlier just about how we feel like it's quite a good pitch, and I don't really think the toss will make too much difference as to who comes out as the winner of today's game. You again won by over 100 runs in the quarter-final to set up finals day, but is it a low-scoring wicket from what you've seen in the first semi-final? I don't know actually. I think the wicket looked like it played quite well. It looked like there was a good bit of carry. I think it's normally a decent pitch here, and there's a bit in it for the batters and the bowlers. So, well, we're not going into it thinking that certainly, and you can only adapt to what you see in front of you when you get out there.
Team news, how are you looking?
From the quarter-final, I missed that one, so I come back in for Charlie Phillips. That's our only change.
Enjoy the day. Thanks for your time, Kirsty.
Thanks.
So news from the middle is that Lancashire Thunder have won the toss. They've elected to field first. We get underway at 2:30.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket.
Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit of a cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
Welcome back to Taunton for semi-final 2 of the brand new Women's T20 County Cup. And it's Lancashire against Blaze after earlier on Surrey won by 3 wickets with 2 balls to spare against Warwickshire. It's only the second time across the KSL era, the regional era, and now, if you want to call it that, the county cricket era, that Lancashire Thunder have made it to a finals day or indeed got past a group stage. They lost to the Southern Vipers back in the Charlotte Edwards Cup in 2023 in T20 action. But this is a rare chance for them to make their mark. And based on the way the England cards fall, you would sense it's a good opportunity for Thunder. They've won 8 of their 10 games across all competitions this season. And you can see in shot there, Sophie Ecclestone and Kate Cross. Lancashire winning the toss and choosing to bowl. Michael McCann with you once more. Georgie Heath and Sophie Luff will be alongside soon. But for now, delighted to say that we've got someone well placed to talk about the dynamics of a finals day. They don't call her Emily winning runs Windsor for nothing. She has a wry smile, as I said it, known for doing that plenty of times over the years for the Vipers. Now with Durham. A very good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Looking forward to this one. Two very stacked teams on paper, the Blaze and Thunder. You mentioned a few names that stand out in that Thunder lineup, but for me, the Bryce sisters for the Blaze, they've had phenomenal seasons over the last few. We've seen Sarah Bryce in some franchise circuits tearing that up as well. Kirsty Gordon, who's come in, this is her first game in the Women's County Cup, given the reins as captaincy back to lead her side. And Georgia Elwis, who I'm very familiar working with, played with at the Southern Vipers for many years, so will be very familiar with finals and finals days. So both teams are stacked. We're set for another thriller of a semi-final after that first one. We've just about come down from Surrey through to the final. Who's going to join them?
Kate Cross has the ball in her hand. Kirsty Gordon in for Charlie Phillips, the only change for Blaze from the side that won comfortably in a quarter-final against second-tier Kent on Friday.
This is funny. Everyone's ready, but for whatever reason someone isn't. I reckon the scorer's still on their lunch break. Genuine.
Just been overindulging in the cottage pie.
Here we go.
Cross ready to bowl the first ball of semi-final 2. As you'd expect from Kate Cross, it's pretty much right on the button, guided into the covers by Marie Kelly for 1. Georgie Boyce is at the non-strikers. Both these two got unbeaten runs against Oxfordshire in round 3 in a 10-wicket win, but both went cheaply against Kent, which left at one point Blaze in a bit of a pickle at 10 for 2, but 94 not out from Sarah Bryce quickly sorted that out with good support from Ella Claridge. Cross just straying down leg. We'll have to re-bowl that one. Blaze, the form side across the last 2 seasons when it comes to domestic T20 cricket. This is their 3rd straight time that they've reached a finals day. They've won 18 of their last 21 competitive senior T20 games. 7 wins from 8 in 2023. 2 wins in this competition this season. And 9 wins from 10 last season. That's just turned away by Boyce. Nice stuff from Cross early doors, as you'd expect.
Yeah, but interesting. Obviously, they line up slightly different in this competition. Marie Kelly and Georgia Boyce haven't had much opportunity so far in the One Day Cup. Marie Kelly's been out, I think, with injury or illness and not been part of the squad. But she has played in this competition. I think she's led the side up to this point. And Georgia Boyce, who's been playing in the middle order, in and out the side a little bit. So they've got a job to do here for the Blaze, but after that comes their stacked middle order.
Yeah, it's a Blaze side, and I mentioned the way the England cards stack up for Lancashire because there is no Sarah Glenn, who's busy playing for England. There is no Tammy Beaumont. There is no Amy Jones. There is no Nat Sivabrunt. But you don't get 18 wins from 21 if you don't have plenty of squad depth.
And previous years, you wouldn't have seen much of those England players.
Beautifully bowled by Cross, speaking of England.
Yeah, obviously we didn't see much of them playing in domestic cricket, and for me here to look out and see Sophie Ecclestone stood at first slip, how good is that for the women's game? Obviously Charlotte Edwards wanted her to get some games behind her belt in order to select her moving forward, as she'd been out rehabbing an injury, but for her to be down here at Taunton with the Thunder, Kate Cross with the ball in hand, Grace Potts as well in that lineup, they've got a stacked team. Thunder, that could be out. Oh.
Nicely bowled by Cross, causing problems early on.
And for me, Lancashire Thunder, or what previously were Thunder, you always look at them on paper and you come up against them and you think they're a stat team, they're going to be a force, but they never seem to. That looked quite out. They never just nip back.
Winter RS system was given that one for sure.
But I think for me, this is a great opportunity for them today with the team they've got out. Can they go and get their club some silverware?
Cross again, probing in the right spots. That first over has conceded just 2. They don't jokingly nickname her Universe Cross for nothing. That was very, very smoothly done. But the Blaze at least get through without damage. It's funny you mention that, because Ellie Frelkel talked about this and about the journey that Thunder have been on and how tough it's been at times throughout the last few seasons. She said the last couple of seasons we've spoken a lot about building really strong foundations. The team's growing, it's developing, it's maturing, but we really now believe that this is our time to go and win something. We've built really good momentum in the 50 over competition, and that will transfer across. We've spoken about how we've done so many things so well in that, and in the T20 stuff it just gets condensed. We don't need to change too much or go far away from what we're doing. And they've made their best start on paper in a long, long time. 6 wins and 2 losses in their 8 Metrobank one-day cup games, and they've kind of breezed their way through here. Winners by 81 runs at Glamorgan in round 3, and winners by 79 runs at Leicestershire in the quarter-final. Here's Tara Norris for her left arm, and she will get the ball to swing as well back in. As was demonstrated there, nice start from the USA International.
Yeah, pressure building here from Thunder. But I'm a big believer winning is a habit. And you talk about momentum, especially in competitions that move on quite quickly. And this, for the Tier 1 teams who have come in quite later in the County Cup, it has been thick and fast to get here to finals day. So all these teams here obviously have momentum. But for me, Thunder have the team out there today that could...
Smash down the ground from Boyce. Well, that's a bit of a counter-punch from Blaze. First boundary of the contest. It takes 8 balls, but it comes from a beautifully clean strike.
Yeah, slightly over-pitched that from Tara Norris, and you can't do that to Marie Kelly. Just smash straight back over the head. Yeah. Good signs this for the Blaze.
I beg your pardon, it was Kelly, and it was really straight hit. Rarely see a fielder there. Norris responding well, just pulling her length back a little bit.
And I always think it's a sign of a good team as well when you're having selection headaches. And I think you look at Thunder's bench as well, players that aren't playing. And similarly with the Blaze, we were talking, weren't we, about Charlie Phillips, who isn't playing today, who's played all comp. That's a good place to be for a side. And that shows you the depth, the strength that these two teams here have.
Norris a little fuller again, and that gives a chance for Kelly to go after it once more. 2 boundaries and 3 balls for Marie Kelly to really get the Blaze firing.
Yeah, brilliant shot again. Just got her length slightly wrong there, Norris. And that's one of Marie Kelly's strengths, hitting back over the bowler's head, back over the top. This time slightly to mid-wicket, but beautiful hand speed. And crunches that for 4.
Yeah, Marie Kelly described by head coach Craig Cumming as someone who has the ability to be one of the most destructive batters in the country. Said he was over the moon that she'd chosen to stick with Blaze. Shorter from Norris. That sounded very good off the bat, and it absolutely flies away. Another boundary for Kelly, who's really ticking here.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Just picked up length, and I think that's credit to her for those last 2 deliveries that were slightly fuller. She hit over the top, gave Norris no chance or no choice to pull her length back, and Marie Kelly just punishes that. There are 2 fielders out there at deep backward square and deep fine leg, and it's 60 metres to our right, so that shows you how well she's timed it for it to race away for 4.
Yeah, just a slightly longer boundary hitting towards the offside from our end of the pavilion end. 55 metres on the offside, 60 metres towards the leg.
3 boundaries so far off this over. What's Norris going to do in reply?
Kelly has to block and respect a good one. So the first over conceded just 2, but that one went for 12. 2 overs gone, 14 for none. Almost all of them off the bat of Marie Kelly.
Yeah, smart batting that is for me. You've already taken Norris for 3 boundaries. It would be quite easy to, I guess, get giddy and go for another big swipe into straight or into the onside, but respects a good delivery. She's still there, crucially for the Blaze. Wickets in hand in T20 cricket towards the back end. They're only going to aid her side, especially with what they have to come.
Yeah, and if you're maybe just tuning in thinking that in the first semi-final, if you didn't watch it, you glanced at the scorecard, that Bears posted 133 for 9, Surrey only chased it 7 wickets down with 2 balls to spare. That it's a low-scoring pitch. I would gently suggest you reconsider. Both sides bowled better than they batted in that one. His cross. Oh, that sounded good, and that flies away on the onside, but it does plug. They'll come back for 2. Deep square leg comes around to cut it out. So Bryce will feel a little bit better about life for that, having not scored off her first 5 faced.
It's one of those, isn't it, that she hit it well, but it's got an area that went a fair way up. But she's off the mark, which she'll be pleased about. And the Blaze ticking along nicely.
Well, that's maybe taking a flick off something. Runs away for 4. So after a slow start and crosses first over, the run tap has suddenly very much been turned on here.
Yeah, I think these two have been smart. They've punished any ball that's slightly wrong in length and line. That's one of those that's been given runs as a batter. You say thank you very much. I'll have 4 of those.
Spoken like a true batter alongside me, Emily Wynn. that little soft signal we almost give to the umpire. Like, yeah, of course I hit that. Well bowled by Cross. Good response.
Again, I think we've seen some brilliant fielding in that first semi-final, and I expect absolutely nothing different from these two sides. Both athletic outfits. Exciting to see. Can someone be the difference? Take that spectacular catch, get that run out. All the crucial things in T20 cricket. Oh, wow.
Well bowled by Cross. That has cut Bryce in half. That is a high-class delivery from a high-class operator.
That has nipped back a serious way. Brilliant taken from Ellie Threco behind the stumps. Lancashire captain. That's a serious delivery, that. Not much you can do about that, Georgie Boyce.
Yeah, there's a reason why Sarah Taylor said about Ellie Threco, she's got phenomenal hands, one of the best in the country. Oh, and again, Cross in a very nice spot.
It's gone the other way, that one. Gone away from the right-hander, and Georgie Boyce just almost expecting it to come back in. And I mean, Kate Cross is one of the best bowlers in the country for a reason. Skillful, got all the tricks up her sleeves. I'm sure we'll see some slower balls at the back end of the game. But right now with this new ball, she's doing a job for her captain.
Third has come up, and mid-on's gone back for this last ball of the over. Last legitimate ball, because Cross will have to re-bowl that one. Kate Cross took 1 for 10 off 4 in the quarter-final win at Kibworth against Leicester on Friday, where Lancs posted 180 for 4 and bundled Leicestershire out for just 71. It's a pretty similar story in their round 3 game against Glamorgan. Posted 167 for 4 and bowled the Welsh side out for 85. Ooh. Well bowled again by Cross. My goodness me, you won't see too many better overs back to back from a bowler this season that don't end up taking a wicket. Cross concedes 9 from her 2 so far, 21 for none off 3.
Yeah, brilliant bowling. Good to see that for England. Kate Cross will be in the ODI squad, linking up with England later this series. I'm going to see spin for the first time into the attack. Sophie Morris, who's had an absolutely brilliant start in domestic cricket in the One Day Cup. She's been picking up wickets for fun. The left arm spinner, been economical. So it'll be an interesting challenge this. A deep cover and a deep mid-wicket in play for her initially.
Yeah, she's got 9 wickets at 18 in the Metro Bank One Day Cup at an economy rate of 4.4 as well, which is very decent. First ball has just been pushed out to deep extra cover for 2.
Oh, that's a great bit of work out there in the deep by Smale. It's a hell of an arm.
Yeah, it looked like a comfortable 2, and Smale did her best to create the perception it might not be after all.
Compared to Pavley in the previous game, she just bowls it slightly slower, Morris. Gives that extra opportunity for it to turn.
Yeah, she's a bit of an almost throwback of a spinner, in the sense that her default stock ball is to really give it flight, get it up and above the batter's eye line and tease them. That's
shot.
Hard. That's a great shot, and that's one that has umpire Julia Jarvis ducking like she's in the Matrix. She's done really well to get out the way of that. And thankfully, the umpire's all good, and Bryce is certainly very happy because Kelly's picked up 4 for them.
That's a heart in the mouth moment for Julia Jarvis. The hat came off and everything, but Marie Kelly got hold of that one, and yeah, that was a spectacle to say the least. Thankfully, she's back up on her feet and poised, ready for the next ball. But how cool is this as well? Sophie Morris, left-arm spinner, got Sophie Ecclestone, the world's best bowler, chatting to her, suggesting a field change to Marie Kelly. Cover coming up, long on going back, which I think is smart against her.
She does like that area of the ground, Kelly, who now tries to access behind square on the leg side. That's very clever. Premeditated the footwork and helps it on its way. So Marie Kelly looks in great nick here early doors for the play. She's on 23 off 11. She's going at more than 2 a ball.
Yeah, bearing in mind that first over went for just 2 runs off Kate Cross. She's been really tidy. Marie Kelly from the other end has managed to put pressure on the bowlers. Only 2 fielders outside the circle, and she's certainly making the most of that.
Oh, there we go. Morris has got Kelly, who had looked $1 million for her 23. But it slides on and goes straight through a big gap between bat and pad. 31 for 1. Morris expensive, but now gets Kelly for 23.
Yeah, big wicket that for Morris. Just the ball going on with the arm, as we often see from the left arm spinner, and a lot of passion in that celebration from the Thunder girls. And Kelly has to go, but a nice innings, 23 off 12. Put the pressure on Thunder, but they'll be pleased to see the back of her. As in comes Catherine Bryce, one of the Bryce sisters in this Blaze lineup. Very experienced professional. Captains Scotland. Has previously captained, I guess, this region of domestic team when it was Loughborough Lightning.
Yeah, she's got a list of honours that it's actually a disrespect to Catherine Bryce to say it's as long as your arm, unless you're not human. It's more as long as the giraffe's neck. Let's go with that, because it is absolutely ridiculous, her cricketing CV. She took her 150th career T20 wicket against Kent on Friday, and she's closing in on 3,500 career T20 runs. But she won't get a run there.
Overall domestic PCA MVP last year as well. So she's certainly key to this Blaze lineup.
Yeah, she was the top run scorer in Charlotte Edwards Cup, the domestic T20 competition, and is going to be very key to this Blaze operation today, particularly with that England quartet absent. And she wasn't just top run scorer as well, so she scored 478 runs in that Charlotte Edwards Cup. The next best was Holly Armitage with 323. She was streets ahead, and in terms of both average and strike rate, again, miles clear. So she's quite the asset for Blaze. Lancs will be desperate to get rid of her. Grace Potts is on. Change of the bowling. Coming on for Cross. Just nibbled away by Boyce for 1. Now Grace Potts is an interesting one, because if we're frank, across this transition from regional cricket to county cricket, most teams have been broadly mapped from the previous playing roster onto the other. I can't really necessarily be said so much with Diamonds to Yorkshire and Durham, but most of the others there's a strong correlation. But Grace Potts is one of the very few who's actually made an unexpected move within that. She didn't go to Birmingham from Spark. She went up north to Lancashire. good from Potts. There were some very faint LBW appeals. It's never a good sign as a bowler when absolutely nobody is paying any attention to you appealing, including your own teammates. Doesn't bode well.
That's a classic fast bowler. Anything that hits the pads, you've got to go up, haven't you? You want the wicket.
There's a lot to like, though, about Potts' consistent record. She's 22, but has played a lot of senior cricket already for Spark. She was on an England tour in South Africa pre-Christmas.
Oh, that's a seed.
And it's deliveries like that that are why so many are so excited about her bowling. That is right on the money. As she was frequently against Leicestershire in the quarter-final. 1 for 12 off 4 there, coming on first change, and 1 for 21 off 4 at Glamorgan in round 3. So she's having a very solid county cup.
Poor Georgie Boyce as well. She's been having seeds flying at her left, right and centre so far this innings. First from Kate Cross and now the tall right arm seam of Grace Potts.
And again from Potts. It's relentless barrage, particularly from that end with the Lordy and Botham stand behind her.
I feel like something's happening here, Michael. My cricketing instincts are either Boyce is going to find that boundary, she's going to go hard at a ball, or I feel like Thunder.
Well, 7 off 13 is normally bringing a run of pressure relieving boundaries or a big shot that gets you out. And again from Potts, absolutely superb. These new balls do not swing for too long, but my goodness me, while it's swinging, Lancashire are exploiting it. Really getting it to talk.
Experience of Catherine Bryce just walking down, having a quiet word with her teammate. But as a batter in this position, you get one away or you get one little bit of luck and then you're flying. And Georgie Boyce is an experienced campaigner. So hopefully from a Blaze point of view, won't be too flustered by this. She can get her innings off and running.
Again though, it's another dot to finish. It's another brilliant ball from Potts, who finishes the over with 4 dots in a row, consistently beating the bat. And with 5 overs gone, it's 33 for 1. Potts' first over goes for just 2, and Lancashire still have the trick card of Sophie Ecclestone up their sleeve to play as and when they would like. It's safe to say they've been enjoying this new competition. Abby Fairclough, their skipper, said it's a bit similar to the magic of the FA Cup in football. The excitement around it, it's pretty cool. The fact you can draw anyone is brilliant for those teams, brilliant for us to play against different opposition on different pitches. The fact we've only had to win 2 games to get here, it's all quite condensed. It's good too. We've relished going to Leicestershire and Glamorgan this was, and being the favourites and being expected to win and avoid an upset. And that's what's brought Lancashire here. Norris is back. She went for 12 from her first. Marie Kelly gave her a little bit of tap.
You compare that run-in, though, to Surrey, who are also in the final. They've had to play Tier 1 teams the whole way to make it. So these 2 teams, Blaze and Thunder, it's slightly different. But as you said, you have that expectation as a Tier 1 team to beat a Tier 2. And I guess in terms of upsets, we didn't really see any in this competition.
Norris's new over was just pushed away by Catherine Bryce. Yeah, I make it the only game where we saw a side beaten by a team from a higher tier was Yorkshire beating Essex in their round 3 game before Yorkshire were beaten by Warwickshire in the quarter-final.
But to be honest, like,
yeah, I think I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
In like, well, I was just going to say, as this competition goes, as Tier 1, this tier structure grows over the years, I think we're going to see more upset. It's very much in its infancy in terms of depth across the women's game, and I think hopefully this FA Cup continues to grow. I call it the FA Cup. It's not actually called the FA Cup, the Women's County Cup.
It's being called the FA Cup.
Hopefully it does continue to grow in, and then a few years' time we see some Tier 2 teams here, Tier 3 teams even in the finals. But right now it's the battle of the Tier 1 teams, and I think Thunder are doing a very good job to restrict the Blaze so far in this power play.
Yeah, on a ground that you would think conditions are pretty well set for reasonably high scoring, despite that first semi-final where the general consensus from everyone I spoke to was that both sides were stronger with the bat in terms of, stronger with the ball in terms of how they performed on the day than the bat. Oh, well bowled. Speaking of being strong with the ball, that's excellent from Norris. It almost snuck through. The big wicket of Catherine Bryce on the line. We were talking about the FA Cup. There's a bit of football skills from Norris afterwards, which
wouldn't have got you far in the FA Cup, would it?
Exactly.
She was aiming for the stumps. The big left boot of Tara Norris. But yeah, I think we've probably seen the two teams that in the first semi-final, Warwickshire and Surrey, their match plan, isn't it, is to come hard and go hard. So we saw a higher scoring power play in terms of run rate, but they were sort of 4 or 5 wickets down at the end of it, whereas here the Blaze crucially are only 1 wicket down, so they do have wickets in hand for the back end of the game. So sometimes that can set you up actually for a bigger score.
Yeah, both sides in game 1 scored exactly 48 in the power play. Bears scored it for the loss of 4, and Surrey scored it for the loss of 3. Boyce, meanwhile, has got to work out her plan here. She's on 7 off 16. She has faced some very good bowling. From Cross and Potts, that's a decent delivery. She nudges away for 1. Tidy work from Cross.
Yeah, good bit of work that from her diving to her right.
Catherine Bryce still settling into her work.
England women are in a bit of trouble as well against West Indies. 24 for 2 off their power play, batting first.
Ouch.
Danny Wyatt-Hodge gets the first bowler, and Sophia Dunkley on 3. Out for 3, sorry.
That's turned away for 1, so it will be a runnable power play for Blaze. They finish it on a steady, if unspectacular, 36 for 1, mainly powered by some big hitting from Marie Kelly, who, after a sparkling 23, went for that score of just 12 balls bowled by Sophie Morris. After some more thoughts from Emily Windsor, she'll be joined by Georgie Heath.
Yeah, it's been a great day down here in Taunton so far for the Women's T20 County Cup Finals day. Surrey earlier beat Warwickshire or the Bears. And a very tight semi-final, just got over the line by 3 wickets in the end. It's been overcast conditions all day, but we've seen some brilliant cricket, and we're certainly setting up for another semi-final. Both teams in the hunt and will be wanting silverware. Surrey now, no doubt, just sat chilling. I'm joined again by Georgie Heath.
Lucky you. Bowled out, first ball of the over, an absolute peach of a delivery. It just tucks back in, and that is the end of Catherine Bryce. We've seen some great bowling from Potts today, and that is the best of the lot.
Yeah, she deserved that one. Her first one over just went for 2 runs. She's been on the money so far. And her first ball of her second over, top of off, textbook seamers wicket. The one you want to bowl, the one the coaches hammer home that you're about, hit top of off, hit top of off. You ask Grace Potts, she delivers there, and the Blaze are now 36 for 2, and the big wicket of Catherine Bryce, she's gone for 2 of 7 deliveries.
That's absolutely delicious, that from Potts. Bales flying all directions. Ellie Threlka loving it behind the stumps. And as one Bryce departs, another arrives. Brings Sarah Bryce out to the middle.
One of my favourite humans.
Sarah Bryce.
Yeah, player at Welsh Fire. Really great egg. Very competitive, but a very team-first player. And I've been enjoying her, watching her successes over the winter at different franchises. She's been churning out the runs, as she did in the previous game to get her here. And much to the Blaze need to see that from her today in order to bank themselves a place in this County Cup final.
So she comes to the middle. Grace Potts, that was just the first ball of the over. Goes aerial, first ball to Sarah Bryce, and that's slashed away, picks up 4.
I'm sorry, that is a ridiculous shot. First ball, bit of width from Grace Potts, and to be able to lift it over backward a point effortlessly, what a way to get off the mark. And from a Blaze point of view, you'll be liking what you're seeing there.
That's sensational, isn't it?
That's on a highlight reel. Wow. Start as you mean to go on, Sarah Bryce.
Just beating that outside edge this time. It's a great response from Potts.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing here from the young fast bowler. shaping the ball away from the right-hander. Good bit of swing as the cloud cover is coming over. It's looking slightly more ominous to our left. And we're going to get the Queen of Somerset, Sophie Luff. Captain Fantastic, all those things round there. We'll get her to give her the weather radar.
It's nicely pushed into the offside, this by Bryce. I bet you there's still players in sunglasses, and I'm convinced that some of them wear them just to make it look brighter.
I quite like still wearing sunglasses because sometimes it can help you pick the ball out of the white cloud, but these are not looking white to my left. Sophie Luff gets her sunglasses out to look at the cloud cover.
She's gauging the glasses versus the non-glasses. 2 still to come, and this pot's over. Moved across early there, did Bryce, and just drops it into the onside. And, well, is that Sophie Morris down there? She juggles her sunglasses and leaves the ball on the floor.
It's as if she knew we were talking about them, and the fact that she just palmed them up in the air. She's like, we don't need them, Georgie.
If she'd had them on her face, they wouldn't have fallen off.
But clearly, she's telling you.
So 1 still to come in this over from Potts. They did well to scamper through for 1 there. So Sarah Bryce back on strike for the final ball of this 7th over. And she just tucks this away behind square. They're going to run the first one hard. I think they'll settle for 1. Yes, they do. So 1 more to the total. The end of 7, Blaze 43 for 2. I think Emily Windsor is already going to run away, and Sophie Luff has decided she doesn't need sunglasses indoors while it's slightly gloomy outdoors. It's going to slide in next to me, but great start this from Sarah Bryce. She really laid down her intent with that first shot. An absolute delicious strike. I would love to just one day, just once, play a shot like that, even if I have to do it on Brian Lara cricket. But still not managed it even on a game just yet. So 7 overs gone. Blaze 43 for 2. What have you made of this so far, Luffy?
Pretty even, to be fair. Lancs with a couple of wickets. It's kind of ebbed and flowed. There's been a couple of really tight overs, then a couple of loose overs. So yeah, it's pretty evenly poised at the moment, and I think, judging by the first game, we might not see much above 150 as a total here.
Well, Norris for her 3rd over. Just gets a little bit of movement.
The other thing is we haven't seen Sophie Ecclestone yet.
We haven't. I watched her. She dived earlier for a ball, and then she stood up quite gingerly and was sort of having a look at her leg or her knee or something. She seems all right now, but obviously there was a lot of talk about having had that knee injury, not being part of an England squad, going back and playing for Lancs, scoring lots of runs, taking wickets, so they'll be very happy to have her as part of the squad in red today. Big swing, all swing, no ding. Finds the outside edge, straight through to Threlkeld, and Tara Norris has her first.
Georgie Boyce been battling away, trying to get through it, but it's width from Norris. Throws her hands at it. She can only get a tickle on it though. And Threlkeld behind the stumps does the rest, and 3 down now. Lancs on top.
Yeah, they'll be really pleased with that one. And as you say, they haven't even brought out Sophie Ecclestone yet, but the seamers doing the business, taking the wickets. Tara Norris just moving away from Georgie Boyce, who, well, very much gives it away. Having a look behind straight away. Big swing. And Ellie Threlkeld is not going to drop that, is she?
No, she's too good for that. Pretty regulation. Tara Norris gets her rewards in the end.
So it brings Georgia Elwes out to the middle. She'll be key for this Blaze side. She needs to stay in, and her and Sarah Bryce have just got to try and build something, the two of them. She's been in great form as Georgia Elwes.
Yeah, this is a key partnership for Blaze now. 2 experienced campaigners in Bryce and Elwes. Elwes been there a number of times in these situations before.
Moves down the pitch, shuffles towards Tara Norris, her former Viper from a long time ago now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, these two will know each other pretty well. So it could be a nice little battle within the game here. I think that's the beauty about cricket. I love seeing those sort of match-up individual batters, players going at each other.
And then when you see them off the field, they're off to have lunch together or off for coffee. swinging back in. And Elwes struck on the pad. She's had a great time of things recently with the Blaze. 85 in a 50-over match against Surrey just a couple of weeks ago, as well as 3 for 35 in that game, and then an unbeaten 75 against Somerset. Should we not bring that one up?
Yeah, she played very nicely. Probably gave her a few chances, which helped her cause and helped her team's cause to that victory, which was a shame from our perspective.
Nicely pushed away into the offside from Elwes, so she gets off the mark and they'll settle for 1.
She's just a very smart cricketer, Georgia Elwes. Countless amounts of experience, but much more of a accumulator. Manages situations very well. Knows the tempo at which she needs to play at. I think she'll give herself a couple of overs here to just assess and then look to build a big partnership with Bryce.
Great delivery to finish the over. This from Norris, a successful over. Just the 2 runs in the wicket coming from it. The end of 8 to Blaze, 8 without loss. Remember, it was Lancs who won the toss and decided they were going to have a bowl, which was a surprise to a total of 0 people around the ground here today. The weather is closing in a little bit, but we're still clear out there in the middle, which is happy days. That's what we like to see. We can still see the hills, Luffy, so that's all right.
We can still see the Quantocks, which is always a good sign. I don't actually think the weather comes from that direction, but you get a good indication as to whether it's raining up there or not. And in the last half an hour, there seems to have been countless showers that have moved and skirted round the hills, which is always good. I always say that Taunton's got its own climate. It could be raining everywhere else in the county, and it'll be fine down here, or it can be the reverse. It can be raining here and nice everywhere else in the county.
So it is going to be time for a bit of spin from Sophie Ecclestone. That's a nice person to have up your sleeve, isn't it?
Oh, but Ellie Thrackeld is absolutely buzzing to have Ecclestone back in the ranks. Just when you've got a world-class spinner at your disposal, it's happy days as a captain.
Just pushed away this one by Elwes. I nearly said Elvis then. He's left the building. Or maybe he's not. Maybe he's not dead and he's in the ground watching. Wouldn't surprise me. So just the 1 off the first delivery from Sophie Ecclestone. That's a great delivery. Full. It's just got Bryce on a back foot. These two know each other well as well from being at the Sydney Sixers over the winter. Just gives herself room. That's nicely played. There is a fielder out there on the boundary, so she'll come in and cut that off. Do easily come back for a second. 2 very fit, fast players. So they will run that first one hard.
Yeah, great running there. So much space, especially out on that offside. Just the 1 fielder out there. And just squaring them up, which I think is the right option to Bryce. Try and get her to play higher up the ground and straighter.
Again, just giving herself room.
That's the danger ball from Ecclestone. The arm ball, the one that slides into the right-hander. Traps you on the crease.
Again, it's almost carbon copy of the delivery before. She's so quick with her overs as well, isn't she, Ecclestone?
Yeah, I mean, she's rattled through so quick that we haven't even got a name up on the screen in front of us.
Final delivery of the over. And straight through to Thrackeld, who whips off the pad, whips off her pads. That'd be quick, wouldn't it? Whips off the bails. That's a very tidy over. The 3 runs coming from Ecclestone's first at the end of 9. Blaze 48 for 3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Blaze play this. Obviously, you'd like to think that Ecclestone is a threat from a Thunder perspective, whether they look to target the other bowlers and just sit in against Ecclestone, but she's still got 3 of the 11 to come. And Blaze, well, need a few more runs at this rate. 5.3 at the moment. Probably not going to be enough if they stay at this rate.
Boulder, first delivery from Morris, and looks to cut this one away. Elwes falls over, and she's just going to have to get up and scamper off the field, and Lancs are all over the blaze here.
Yeah, well, if it's not Sophie Ecclestone that's going to get you, it's going to be the other left arm spinner by the looks, Sophie Morris, back into the attack and wicket first ball. Elwes just looking to give herself a little bit of room there, try and play with the spin from the left arm spinner, but there wasn't really any grip and just slid on into that off stump, and Elwes has to go, and Blaze on the back foot now.
Elwes has left the building. Been waiting to say that. And I think what you get with this as well, with someone like Sophie Ecclestone, yes, she's a wicket taker, but she's also a pressure builder. You know, only 3 runs coming from her over, so then you look to try and do something at the beginning of the next over, top of off, and off you go.
Yeah, I mean, coaches talk about it a lot, and from a batting perspective, it's obvious to talk about partnerships, but so crucial in the bowling department as well, when you can marry up combinations, put pressure on batters, and that's exactly what Ecclestone has done for Morris there.
She's in again, the left arm up, and just tries to work this one around the corner, does Ella Claridge. You can hear the voices around the Lancs players. They're really up and about at the moment. Got them 4 down. Ellie Threlkeld, the only person going up for anything there. But 1 extra to the total. They'll take that, will the Blaze?
Yes, I mean, based off the first game, you know, Surrey obviously chased 134, which wasn't a massive score.
No, when we looked at it at the change of innings, we thought 134 was going to be a pretty easy chase, and the way they started as well.
But it almost looks like a similar score could be on the cards here. And we saw Warwickshire take it really deep. It's interesting, is it, batting first? Like, what is a good score? Especially when you've seen a game go before you as well.
This one just given the respect it deserves and played back up to Morris. Well, she's had a great summer so far. And Sophie Morris picking up a 5 against Durham in the Metro Bank One Day Cup just last week.
I actually first came across her in Sydney a couple of years ago. I was out playing for Parramatta and she was playing at Manly. I'd never seen her up to this point. I think she was probably in the Lancashire Academy at that point. And yeah, she got me out on that day. And she's gone from strength to strength over the last couple of years, playing a real key role for Lancashire this season.
Yeah, picking up wickets at regular intervals, isn't she? Barely goes without one, and tidy as well. So that brings 10 overs to a close. A successful one for that. I get my words out. A successful one for Morris. That one. 10 overs gone. 51 for 4 are the Blaze after being put into bat by Ellie Threlkeld on the toss earlier on this afternoon. But as you say, pressure of finals day, but they'll be feeling pretty good about this at the moment, Lancashire. Sophie Ecclestone is going to continue, so we've got left arm spin from both ends at the moment.
Having 1 left arm spinner in your lineup's a nice addition, but to have 2.
This one just turned away by Sarah Bryce.
You just know that Ecclestone's not going to give you any freebies, so depending on how Blaze want to play her, whether they just take what's on offer or whether they want to go after her, they're going to have to create those boundary opportunities against her.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because struck on the pad this time, very muted appeal, sliding down leg, you'd say, but you can't just see her out. She's got enough overs up her sleeve, and you're already 10 in.
Yeah, and you've got to keep watching out for that arm ball. That's the wicket ball. That is the danger ball at the moment from a Blaze perspective.
Again, that'll just be 1. So just failing, struggling to find the boundary. We saw how Marie Kelly came out early on, absolute sort of in 6th gear before the car had even started. And now really been slowed down. Those wickets falling at regular intervals, no one able to really get going yet. Sarah Bryce into double figures.
Bryce using her feet there, trying to create a length to drive, but not quite there, not quite at the pitch of the ball.
Again, just gives herself space and just threads the needle. That's gone magnificently through the gap, bisects the two fielders, and finally they pick up 4.
That is timing of the highest nature there by Sarah Bryce. Ecclestone with her hands on her head suggests that she cut that off the top of the stumps, but it's a great gap from Bryce. And just the way that she plays that ball so late, brilliant side on angle to show just how late she played the ball there.
Bit of extra flight this time from Ecclestone. Finishes the over with a dot. So 5 runs coming from it. The end of 11. 9 overs still to come, Blaze. 56 for 4.
Yeah, big roll for the two Blaze batters at the crease now to just try and wrestle some momentum. It's all with the team in red out there at the moment. I think it's going to be, well, just going to keep having left arm spin from both ends. Morris is going to carry on, and why not? These two are bowling beautifully in tandem.
They're just struggling to really do anything with it. That 4 from Sarah Bryce was just a wonderful looking shot. And this time goes for the sweep, and again not quite timed, or just pick up 1. The reason you might be able to hear a bit of chuckling is because Ever the Athlete, Emily Windsor, has just appeared with the combination of custard and some kind of shortbread biscuit, not just dunked, as in swimming in the custard to our right. And I'm laughing, but I'm just quite jealous.
She's a classy girl, isn't she? She's even got it in a paper cup.
She's gone double-walled paper cup. Nice looking stroke again, just the fielder out there on that deep cover boundary, so it will just be 1. She says it's elite. I actually think it's just part of her recovery. You go and have surgery, and they say this is what you need.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very northern thing to do as well. Like,
they love to dunk things.
Gravy, and I'll have a bowl of custard.
That's well cut off. Sort of half stop from Tara Norris. They think about a second, decide against it.
She's forgotten her roots already.
You know what? Actually, I think it does look good. It's the rogueness of eating a biscuit with a spoon that I can't quite get my head around. Goes for the sweep shot this time as Bryce. Not quite timed, but they're doing well to just tick this over now, just dotting up the 1. They've just got to try and keep that score ticking over. As they move to 60 for 4, leg by signalled there by Julia Jarvis, who's...
She stayed on her feet that time.
Stayed on her feet. Proving she can stand on 1 leg. It was quite good evasive action.
Very good.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Quick reactions.
And to be fair, like, no one wants to fall over on the cricket pitch. I thought she styled it out pretty well.
I think she did.
I thought she did a good job. Very, very respectable landing, I would say.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Well, end of 12 overs, score 61 for 4.
It must be something about Julia Jarvis and Taunton, though, because it must have been last year. We had Amanda Jade Wellington, and she hit one straight back at her, and she didn't get out of the way of that one.
Oh.
That was a nasty blow. Emily's saying that we're losing the mountains. Lovely Quantock Hills gliding over.
That's a great delivery from Cross. Back into the attack, gone for a bit of pace again this time.
I think there might be a little bit of rain in the air as well. You can always tell if you find the black sight screen. You can always see whether it's raining or not. Unfortunately, I think we have got a little bit of the wet stuff in the air here as Cross is in from the river end.
Played uppishly just over the left hand of backward point. And they'll come back easily for a second, able to just use that pace.
Yeah, she's found that gap on a couple of occasions, Sarah Bryce. First ball, absolutely crunched it over backward point, just using the width and the bounce in this wicket as well that was on offer.
Skewed up in the air, taken easy as you like. Soft dismissal in the end. Fuller from cross, just got herself in a bit of a tangle, Sarah Bryce, and easily taken by Kate Cross. Just falls into her hands, and she has her first of the day.
Yeah, well deserved from Kate Cross. Bowled pretty nicely in her first couple of overs without any success. Miserly, as always, she gets the wicket, the big wicket of Sarah Bryce. Just playing across that front pad, that's definitely the line to be bowling to someone like Sarah Bryce. Tuck her up on the crease, just a leading edge, and, well, Kate Cross isn't going to drop that.
That's what Lancashire have done so well. Every time they look like they're just getting back into this game, Blaze, they break a partnership, take a wicket.
Looked like that was pace off from Kate Cross. Again, good to see these bowlers utilising all their skills and balls that they've got available to them.
So Michaela Kirk strides out to the middle to join Hilla Claridge. She's off the mark straight away. It is getting dark out there, Luffy.
Yeah, it's looking pretty ominous out there, I have to admit. It's looking like the wind's getting up a little bit. Doesn't look particularly pleasant.
I can see rain. Whoa! Have some of that. That's going to be 4. That was 4 written all over it from the moment it came off the bat.
It's almost like, where did that come from? Claridge has been prodding and poking it, and on an attempt delivery decides, I've had enough of that method. I'm going to whack Kate Cross over, long on. Gets a bit of bottom hand in that, but gets enough of it. She picks up a boundary.
Yeah, much better that from Cross. Just little Fuller moving across Claridge. She's moved really early, hasn't she? Sort of been followed by Cross. And that brings the over to a close. So successful one in terms of wicket taking. 13 gone, Blaze. 68 for 5.
Yeah, struggling to wrestle much momentum here, the Blaze. Especially losing Sarah Bryce now. That's the thing, we haven't really seen in the earlier game as well, we haven't seen really any of the top 6 really stand up and be counted and get a big score for their team, especially on a finals day. You'd like to think that your top 5, 6 have really taken responsibility with the bat, but Blaze are going to rely on 6, 7, 8, 9 to try and get them up to something that they could possibly defend.
Yeah, it hasn't happened a lot, has it? Michaela Kirk hasn't had to bat in the last 2 T20s that they've played. Ecclestone has changed ends now. Looks to sweep this round the corner, Kirk. Not timed at all. And I'll add 1 more to the total.
I'm just trying to figure out in my head, like 7 overs to go, what they could get to. I mean, you'd like to think that 120's got to be a minimum. But we're talking that's still 50 runs away.
Use of the feet, struck hard. And I think the half stop, but it's going to win the race. Yes, it does. Ball wins the race. And that's finally a boundary off Ecclestone.
I think that's Emma Lamb in there. She looks pretty uncomfortable. And you know how hard that's been hit, because she's actually got a hand on that, Emma Lamb, and it's still raced away.
Yeah, she looks
the fence.
She looks really uncomfortable.
That's it. Tara Norris is giving her a back rub though.
Oh,
so
you'll be fine now. It'll be fine.
Well.
Yeah. Well, we have some bad news, and it's the fact that Mother Nature has decided that she needs a rest, and she's going to send us all off because it is raining. It was getting much, much darker, wasn't it, Luffy? The rain is just starting to get heavier. There's clouds in all directions. It's slightly brighter over to the left, but there's ground staff sprinting on. I can see some muslin. I can see covers, and sadly, I can see rain. So 13 3.2 overs in, the Blaze and Lancashire are heading off. They're not really going off at much pace. They're not in a hurry. But
it doesn't look like it's absolutely chucking it down. It's just sort of a real sort of fine, misty drizzle, and those quantocks are disappearing quite quickly over there. They're getting the Hessian down on the wicket. Oh, so they've just nearly tripped over getting the Hessian on.
It's a shame, but this is what happens when you play an outdoor sport like this. Rain comes, but hopefully it won't last too long. It's quite blustery out there. It's quite windy. I'm hoping I'm going to be the optimist and say that it'll blow over.
But I feel like, what time are we on now? 3:20. I feel like we've done really well.
Yeah.
Like, given the forecast was looking a bit dodgy, I feel like we've done really well to get as much cricket in as we have up until this point. And we've been off a couple of times for rain here over the last month or so in the Metro Bank One Day Cup, and we have been able to get on pretty quickly once it clears. So yeah, hopefully the ground staff are covering that wicket as we speak.
Yeah, well, because this is a semi-final and we've got another final here later on today, they do actually start losing overs immediately in this semi-final. So we haven't really got the time of that yet, but you'll lose 4 overs for every 15 minutes spent off the field. So I'm sure we can all have a look at different weather radars and what they say, or we can just stick a cup outside. If water goes in it, it's still raining. If it doesn't, it's not. That's my theory. But I think let's just have a quick look. We'll talk you through what's happened so far in this game. So it's Lancs won the toss and they decided they were going to have a field first. Marie Kelly came absolutely flying out the traps and was eventually the first wicket to go down at 31. She went for 23. Catherine Bryce not long after, scoring just 3. Georgie Boyce, she was the third wicket to go down. The other opener went for 9. Georgia Elwes, well, she made just 2. And then Sarah Bryce, the most recent wicket to go down, caught and bowled by Kate Cross for 18. So they find themselves at the moment 73 for 5. A wicket apiece for Cross, Norris and Potts, and 2 for Sophie Morris. And so we will hopefully see the weather radar continue to fly that rain on over. But I think we'll take a short break here and we'll be back hopefully with some good news about sunshine on the way. So don't go too far. Get yourselves a cup of tea. Get yourself a biscuit dunked in custard a la Emily Windsor. And we'll see you hopefully very soon.
We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
we need your support. We love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit of a cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit of a cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that. A game.
launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that. It just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit of a cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that, a game.
We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and and to have some like a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games, and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
Hello and welcome back to the Cooper Associates County Ground here in Taunton. Happy days, sunshine, dances have paid off. It has stopped raining and we are back underway here in this second semi-final. Winner of this match will go on to play Surrey in the final this evening, but it's all about this match for now. It has been shortened, so it's going to be 16 overs aside, which means we have 16 balls left in this innings. And if I could quote High School Musical, 16 minutes left, but it's not quite 16 minutes, but I just wanted to quote High School Musical. So, Emily Windsor, what do you think they'll be targeting by the end of this 16?
Well, I think it's pretty hard to stay because these stops and starts can be really hard for the flow of the game, and I'd say Thunder were on top at the point of the rain break. Obviously a bit of a reset for the Blaze and two very capable batters in Claridge and Kirk at the crease, but 16 balls isn't many and you've got to get going from ball one. And obviously the score that they do get will be DLS adjusted as well for the other team, I believe. So all that DLS additions just throws us completely off. You might be an expert. I'm certainly not.
I'm certainly
DLS.
not.
Okay,
but
good.
No, I always
a lot of knowledge between us then.
When it went from being DL to DLS, so I got confused enough about that bit in the first place. But it'll be Sophie Ecclestone who's going to continue bowl the first two of this over, so she's got another 4 to bowl here. Already gone for 5 this over. And this is when it's so hard for someone like Claridge. You just got to get going. You've got to be able to fire from ball 1 at this point. It's very tricky.
Yeah, and obviously Thunder go straight to a defensive field because there's 16 balls left, so we'll see bish bash bosh. Long off, long on, deep mid wicket and deep square out for Sophie Ecclestone. So that wall of fielders on the offside that looks ever intimidating in the red.
Ella Claridge just eyeing up the field.
She's getting a lot of time to do it as well.
She can memorise it, take one away and she'll be able to tell you where she's gone from.
Julia Jarvis just not allowing the play to start till it gets probably dead on half past. We're at 29 currently.
Oh, okay.
We're too keen, Georgie.
It's because we're waiting for it to start raining at 30. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It is brighter than it was earlier. We can see the Quantox, which is always a good sign. And Sophie Ecclestone is going to bowl the third ball of her over. And has a big swing at this one as Claridge, so it shows her intent straight off. She's looking to slash it through that offside where that wall of fielders are.
Yeah, she just got slightly too far leg side of that one, so made it a challenge to reach.
Straight back at Ecclestone. She does well. And they do well again to come through for one. Scampering through. Think about a second. The ball goes wayward from Ellie Threlkeld with the sort of the underarm backwards flick.
And Ecclestone giving her hands a shake. That was hit hard by Claridge. What's Kirk got for the Blaze? I feel like they need to work their way up to, what have we got? 14 balls. You want at least a minimum of run a ball, if not more.
Just waits on this one. Goes aerial. It's going to land safe, so there will be another 1 to the total.
See, we've had a bit of rain, so the outfield as well can sometimes be a bit horrible to field at this point because it's a bit skiddy. They've obviously been round it with the trucks and the rope, but sometimes when it pitches, it like skids at you in the field. So if someone does get hold of it,
bowls up. Well, that's the end of Claridge. Not got a hold of that. Sophie Ecclestone gets a hold of the middle stump. Bails flying everywhere. Just that fuller delivery, and Sophie Ecclestone doing what she does so well and getting rid of the set batter.
Yeah, big wicket in terms of the context because DLS comes into play, but I imagine, and I'd like to think they'd throw Josie Groves up the order, but this doesn't look like Josie Groves to me, who I've seen hit a long ball many a time, but it looks like the skipper Kirsty Gordon's coming to the crease. But nice delivery that from Ecclestone. Hitting leg stump. Claridge just trying to give herself room to hit through the offside. Doesn't pay off. 75 for 6, the Blaze.
And crucially, it's also a dot ball. So they'll take this, Lancashire. They've come out firing straight away, and it's, well, you've had Sophie Ecclestone from one end. It looks like Grace Potts doing up her hair, ready to rumble again. So Gordon will be at the non-strikers for the beginning of this over. Michaela Kirk, 2 from 3 to her name so far. Grace Potts to start her third. Moves early, looks to try and flick it over Threlkel's head, wide down the leg side, so they'll take the bonus run. She moved very early.
She did, but I think that was a good option for Kirk, actually. She just didn't quite execute it with fine leg inside the circle. 2 fielders out at third and deep cover, and then a deep square and deep mid-wicket, so she has to bowl into the wicket here.
Waits on this one, not quite timed, a bit of a bottom edge, hand off the bat. That's one more to the total. They've got to be eyeing up 90, surely.
You hope, but I think Lancashire have bowled really nicely so far. I'm just looking at overs, what people have left. So we got this over and then one other. So in terms of who's getting that, I guess one bowler can bowl 4 overs. So maybe Kate Cross, maybe Ecclestone again.
Oh, that's kept low. Just had a big old swing at that one as Kirsty Gordon.
Well, if she got hold of that, that was going into the river, that's for sure, in the distance. Big swing by Gordon. But I saw her play a really good knock, actually, at Loughborough the other day. Batted with Georgia Elwes in the 50-over cricket to get her team up over the line. She's really improved her batting as Kirsty Gordon.
Moves early as well, and this time finds that gap. And it's just racing to that boundary. Yes, she picks up 4. Just had enough on it.
Yeah, innovative from Gordon. Fine legs inside the circle. She plays that ramp well. She moves over to the offside and helps herself to a much needed boundary for the Blaze.
Yeah, she couldn't have picked the gap better. And just able to use enough of the pace of Potts that could reach that boundary. And actually just pushing the fielder down there to the boundary. I feel like she's going to try it again. We've seen both of them try it now. Slow ball keeps low.
Just trying to give herself some room there, Gordon. Good delivery from Potts. She has been really impressive for me today. I've not seen her yet this season myself, personally. And she just looks like she's got good rhythm, hitting good areas, hitting the pitch hard, got the ball to swing early on. And now not afraid to use her variation, so good sign for Lancashire Thunder.
Has a feel for this one. And it's managed to just stay inside the long, so crucially a dot ball. Just a little movement after it had pitched.
Yeah, I think Gordon wasn't happy that that wasn't given a wide. It's one of those touch and go ones. 7 balls remain. Third up and deep long on in play.
Oh, she has a little push at this one. So it's a dot ball to finish the over. 3 dots in a row at the end of the over. So with 1 over still to come, the Blaze 81 for 6.
Yeah, good over from Potts. Who are we going to see to bowl? Yeah, Ecclestone, rightly so. Called upon by Ellie Threckeld. Be the one bowler that gets to bowl 4 because of the restricted game due to the rain. Looks okay weather-wise at the moment, but I do look left and I see grey again.
Just don't look left.
Which I'm not happy about, so I'm going to look right and see the lovely hills in the distance. There's a Lancashire Thunder fan just outside.
Big appeal from Threlkel behind the stumps.
Kate Cross at long on was loving the cheer. Chief Exec's getting right behind him, that's for sure.
Goes reverse, goes aerial, takes straight down the throat of the fielder. Not what would have been point. And that's another wicket down, and crucially again, a dot ball.
Yeah, brilliant this from Thunder. I mean, they've been on top this innings so far. There was the delay, and there's always that danger that you could slightly lose it, but it's almost like they warmed up at the right time. They didn't get going too quick, and they've still got that foot on the accelerator. They're picking up wickets regularly. The Blaze are in all sorts of trouble here. 81 for 7 now.
Yeah, Sophie Morris just indicating how she took that one. She didn't look too comfortable with it, but got both hands under it in the end.
She's got sunglasses on.
Because she's got sunglasses on, that's why. It must be. Need windscreen wipers on them.
Ecclestone 2 for 15 from 3.2 overs so far. Good to see world's best bowler back out on the field, taking wickets, restricting run float. I imagine it won't be long till we see her in an England shirt again.
Probably not. It all just depends on that knee and whatever's going on around that. Darted in this time and somehow it squirted away, and it's very straight, very fine. And it's a bonus 4 runs. Oh, well, I think if you asked Josie Groves where she was intending to send that, I was about as far away from her intentions as it could possibly have been.
If you swing hard and you get anything on it, can find a way to the boundary. So thick inside edge, and it races away for 4. Blaze certainly won't mind that, nor will Josie Groves.
She waits on this one, looks to try and launch it. Just threw the action far too early.
Ecclestone's such a clever bowler as well. She just changes her pace, which makes it really obviously hard to hit, hard to target the boundary. She's a clever bowler.
Goes aerial this time. Josie Groves taken. Kate Cross makes no mistake. Coming in long on. And Ecclestone has her second of the over. 3 for the match already now. And Josie Groves will have to depart for just 4.
Yep, again, brilliant from Lancashire Thunder. I mean, Josie Groves had no option but to swing, but field set, the trap was set. And Kate Cross delivers at long on. She smiles her way back to the boundary below us.
Very enthusiastic supporter out on the balcony in front of us.
There's also a little one with an ice cream.
I'm actually not sure how much of it he's actually managed to consume. Most of it is on his face. And that's the only way to eat an ice cream. So final delivery. Darted in from Ecclestone at the pads. Big appeal from Threlkeld behind the stumps. And they'll scamper through for 1. So that brings the innings to a close. So 16 balls flew by just then as McCarthy runs off to go and get changed. 16 overs. So that target now for Lancs from their 16 will be 87 to get themselves a spot in the final this evening where they would take on Surrey. Blaze have got to try and defend 86. Sophie Ecclestone finishing with 3 for 19. 2 wickets coming in that final over. And that's exactly what you want from one of your frontline bowlers, isn't it? Just tight and tidy at the end, taking wickets, showing them how it's done.
I think this score gets adjusted, Georgie, for DLS because they didn't know that it was 16 overs. So we'll find out as soon as we get that figure exactly what is needed to be chased by Lancashire Thunder. It doesn't, in this situation, it doesn't usually change that much, especially with the wickets in play. But I'm sure we'll have that figure when we come back to resume the Lancashire Thunder chase. Who's going to bank their place in the final alongside Surrey later today? You feel Lancashire Thunder with this total should.
Yeah, they looked a very happy side heading off at the end there, didn't they? Sophie Ecclestone, big smile on her face. 3 for 19 from her 4 overs. 2 wickets in that final over. Blaze getting themselves to 86 for 8 from 16. It just doesn't sound enough. And then obviously, as you say, the adjustment perhaps for the DLS. But that is the story of the day at the moment. They started really fast, didn't they, the Blaze? They came out flying. Marie Kelly especially, 23 from 12 for her, bashing 5 fours on the way to that. Talk about not having to run too much, just hit it to the boundary. Makes it easy. But other than that, not a lot really to write home about from the batting. 18 from Bryce and 13 from Claridge. Other than that, no one else making it out of the double figures. So the top score of 23 from Kelly up the top. And then the 7 extras in there from the Lancashire bowlers.
Yeah, and the wickets were shared about really, weren't they? Ecclestone with 3 at the end there, but impressive performance from the seamers, I think, for me up front. I think Cross, Norris and Potts with the ball particularly. There was a lot of plays and misses, but 3 wickets for Ecclestone, 2 for Morris, and 1 for the rest of the bowlers. Share it about.
It's sort of the Oprah, isn't it? You get a wicket, you get a wicket, you get a wicket. And if you're Sophie Ecclestone, you get 3 of them. So we're going to have a short innings break now, and play will resume again at 4:50, and we will find out who is going to book themselves a spot in tonight's final.
We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd, and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games, and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer, and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that.
Welcome back to Taunton for the run chase of this second semi-final for the newly created Women's T20 County Cup. I mentioned earlier on in the day that the cards stacked up pretty well in terms of the relative England availabilities for these two teams. And having had the first innings of the contest, the cards certainly stack up even better for the Manchester-based side now. Duckworth-Lewis adjusted, so it will be 90 to win, rather than the 87 that it would have been to win in more conventional conditions. The Blaze posting just 86 off their 16 overs for the loss of 8 wickets. And now out comes the form batter in the country, Emma Lamb. My goodness me, is she in some nick. She has 577 runs at 82 and 50 over cricket, and in this competition scores of 52 at the Morgan and 41 at Leicestershire. If there's any chance of the Blaze defending this, they could do with getting her early. Lily Kesteven is at the non-strikers and Emily Windsor alongside.
Yeah, excited to see this chase. The captain's taking the ball, the new ball.
Kirsty Gordon starting off with Dot. This is her first game in this competition. She's come in for Charlie Phillips, who deserves a moment of praise on her contribution as that's nudged away. Well, they've set off. This is going to be tight. It's not even going to be close. My goodness me. What is going on there? An absolutely needless run out, and Tilly Kesteven is gone without facing a ball, and that is exactly what you want as a fielding side when defending a low total. It's a real bonus for Blaze, and Thunder are none for one.
Yeah, if I was Kesteven now, I'd be spewing. I think that is a classic deep square leg is usually out. So Emma Lamb's just worked that into that, what usually would be a gap, but Blaze, because it's obviously the power play, they have Cassidy McCarthy in there, and good bit of work from her, picked the ball up cleanly, diving in, and wow, she was nowhere near him, was she? It was a barbecue, really.
It took a second for it to dawn on me quite how incredible a bit of running that was. I mean, that is something of a gift for Blaze. And now Seren Smell, who of course plenty of times has opened the innings with great success and had something of a breakthrough season at Lancashire last year. He was Thunder's Player of the Year for 2024 and hit 58 in the quarter-final win at Leicestershire on Friday. It's out there now.
The offside dominant player is Smale, so they've taken that square leg position out and they've put in 2 backward points, which I like this from Kirsty Gordon. She's always a clever cricketer, but she's going to make Smale do something different, try and encourage her to sweep as that area is vacant. And this is exactly what Blaze need, that they obviously need wickets to be in with a shout in this reduced game, but also these dot balls. Kirsty Gordon is piling on. It couldn't have been a better start for the Blaze if they tried. Just the 1 wicket and no runs so far.
Bit more flight from a final. Well, there was half a thought of running there, and it's a good thing they didn't, because that would have definitely been a second run out in the over, because that was straight at short third. Thanks, Stephen. Just that second finals day. That's a long on for one. I should stress when I say that, in the era from KSL cricket onwards, 2016 looking on, and at the end of the first over, it's 1 for 1. Smell off the mark.
Yeah, good start that from Blaze. Very happy with that, and I think what we know about the Blaze just generally and over the last few years is they're not going to give up fighting. They're a real unit now. They've put together something pretty special, recruited well again. Obviously Georgia Elwis coming up from the Southern Vipers, or what is now the Hampshire, who's also a very experienced and fantastic domestic cricketer. But you look at their bowling attack and it's very nicely balanced. They've got obviously the left arm spinner Kirsty Gordon, a left arm seamer, and Grace Ballinger, who we're about to see. The leg spin of Josie Groves, who I'm sure we're seeing will be important through the middle overs. She picks up wickets regularly. Catherine Bryce, that experience. I mean, I feel like I'm doing just the pace of Cassidy McCarthy. She's got all angles covered. So it's not going to be an easy chase by any means for Thunder. And Blaze, Definitely a unit in the field as well.
Ballinger steaming in from the pavilion end. Starts with a wide. Yeah, there's a lot of variety in bases covered. It's been something of a breakout season so far for Josie Grove. She's got as many wickets in this competition as anyone. She's taken 7 in 2 games. And remember the wider context. This is it's not even form, it's the best T20 side in English domestic cricket for 2 and a bit seasons now. 18 wins from 21 for the Blaze. That's the form book that Lancashire are up against. Better from Ballinger. Nice looking drive from Smell, for which she'll get no run. Hasn't quite found her best in 50 over cricket this season, Seren Smell. 120 runs at an average of exactly 20. But she's been a little more fluid in this competition. 23 off 24 at the Morgan and 58 off 52 at Leicester on Friday, which was just a 3rd senior T20 50 to go with a ton. Good areas from Ballinger. Lots of pressure on here early on.
Yeah, Ballinger for me is really growing into this role, opening the bowling for the Blaze. I think she's a very skillful bowler. She moves the ball through the air, but she hits the pitch hard, and she also has her variations. I've seen her bowl a fair few bumpers into the pitch and cutters later in the innings, so she's really grown into leading this Blaze attack. Ooh.
Ballinger again challenging and testing Smale, and the dots are piling up early doors. We were talking about that Blaze attack. I'd been mentioning Charlie Phillips. You have to feel a touch for her. Professional sport is pretty brutal, but 3 for 18 against Oxford and then 2 for 14 against Kent in the 2 rounds building up to this, but misses out for Kirsty Gordon in this game. But such is the breaks. Definitely a player to keep an eye on. Going through the Sunrisers Academy.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of her actually. She looks exciting, bowls with good pace, sort of a round arm action, which gives a different angle, a point of difference, I guess. But when you're dropped for your captain of the Blaze, then I suppose you can't argue with that one.
Yeah, Kirsty Gordon coming in, such a valuable asset to have, a different type of asset, of course, in the spin that we've already seen her offer in this innings. Fascinating to see how Gordon juggles her bowlers here with the restriction of overs that 16 over game provides.
Ooh.
Beautifully bowled from Ballinger and given, gone. Emma Lamb, the form batter in the country, has got something on that on the way through, in the opinion of umpire Jarvis. Lamb is gone for a 3rd ball duck, and Lancashire Thunder, who only needed 90 to win, are tottering early doors, 3 for 2.
I'm confused here what the mode of dismissal is, because I'm not sure that's hit her bat. I think that's hit her pad on the way through, but we'll have to have a look in the replay. But whatever it is, the big wicket of Emma Lamb for Thunder, she's gone without scoring. As we watch the replay here, it swung back lovely. It's hit something. Is that hit the stumps?
It's definitely not hit the stumps. She's not out bowled. It's either that she's been given out LBW, as it's sort of brushed the top of that pad on the way through.
That's come back a lot. It's definitely hit something, but it almost looked like it was past the bat by the time it is. But interesting dismissal, that.
I almost saw a couple of fielders, as they went in to celebrate with Ballinger, give that body language facial expression as if to say that they weren't totally sure which mode of dismissal it might have been. What is for certain is it's a brilliant ball from Ballinger. Sophie Morris, one of, if not Thunder's best player across recent seasons, is out to the middle to repair from that rubble.
Thunder in trouble here, though. What should, or what we again assumed would be a relatively simple chase. The run rate required is just creeping over 6s, and as that climbs, it becomes harder and harder, and obviously losing 2 wickets with just scoring 3 runs. Thunder, who we thought did so well with the ball, and now under the pump.
The one thing I would say, I know it sounds like saying this after the event, but I think any Lancashire Thunder fan hearing me say this would nod in agreement, which has been a consistent theme across a number of seasons, is they've been a side that have been, statistically across both T20 and 50 over cricket, stronger with the ball than with the bat. And now there is an added pressure to batting because it is finals day with a spot in their first final on the line in this long journey under skipper Ellie Frelkeld to become a side challenging for and winning trophies. Catherine Bryce is on. Her first delivery is beautifully driven square of the wicket by Smell. It just bursts through the hands of cover point away for 1.
Just watching this replay back of the Emma Lamb dismissal, I'm still unsure of what it's hit because it's moved so late the opposite direction. But for the Blaze, they'll be up and about that one. As you said, she's the informed batter and she's now in the pavilion. I just feel the Blaze have something here. They're up and about.
That's into stopped by the pads of Sarah Bryce. And that is a wide, but nothing more than that. In fact, it looks to me like that's Ella Claridge keeping, beg your pardon.
Yes.
Yeah, Sarah Bryce is at cover point. And again, that's dribbled away. That might be 5 wides. Well, it's leg byes, in fact, but regardless, it's just the tiny release of pressure that they'd have desperately wanted. Thunder, bit of a freebie. Just losing her line, Catherine Bryce, and it's not often you find yourself saying that.
Yeah, she swings the ball so much into the right-handed batter, and she's definitely got it going here, but just slightly too much.
That one's driven straight to mid-on. We still have not seen any real statement of intent from the Lancashire Thunder top order. We haven't seen a boundary off the bat. We've seen Lamb and Kesterven both go without scoring.
Certainly looks like bowling conditions out there, doesn't it? It is overclassed and the ball is moving, but Thunder need to find a way.
Right, straight at cover. Well, if anyone can, you'd think Sophie Morris would be a good bet. She was absolutely integral as part of the side that in 2023 got to finals day in the T20 competition before losing to Vipers in the Eliminator. And as an impressive fielder and off spinner, and with bat in hand, she so often knits this side together. And there goes Sophie Morris again, showing her qualities. Gets off the mark with Thunder's first boundary in the innings that comes off the bat. That is a real nerve settler for Sophie Morris.
Yeah, beautiful. Slightly over pitch from Catherine Bryce. And the player of Sophie Morris's class. She's not going to miss out on that. Hold the pose, Sophie Morris, for beautiful runs through the covers.
Bryce again drifting down leg, so that will be re-bowled. Yeah, slightly unfamiliar role today for Sophie Morris in the sense that she wasn't used with the ball. I can say with relative certainty that is a real collector's item in terms of her entire career at Lancashire Thunder, and indeed I would imagine stretching back much further than that. Very handy all-rounder. Sweeps hard, sweeps well. Good tumbling work out there from deep square leg, and they only actually, in fact, managed to get through for 1.
Yeah, fantastic work in partnership. Josie Groves and Michaela Kirk, both very good fielders. I know the Blaze have high fielding standards. And that's exactly what they've lived up to there, because every run's going to count here. 90 required of 16 overs. So that run rate's just hovering around 6. Sometimes it's going above, sometimes it's going below. But just slightly too many extras in that Bryce over with the 4 leg byes. A couple of wides trying to find that radar. Have allowed Thunder just to settle a bit, settle the nerves.
Ballinger back for more. He's being worked square at the wicket. Lovely shot from Sophie Morris. Didn't try and hit it hard at all. Just timed it. It's a touch short and a touch wide from Ballinger, but it's exceptional batting from Morris.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've seen on this pitch. The people that have scored runs, they've just played good cricket shots. The minute you pierce this inner ring, if there's no fielders out, it races away for 4, and Morris just picks up the length, lovely back face through the ball, 4 more runs to her.
Full swipe and a miss from Sophie Morris.
Big swing this though from Ballinger into the right hander. Ball pitches quite full, but Ella Claridge takes well to her left.
Should say as well, Lancashire got a bit of a psychological edge here. They've beaten Blaze in both of their 50 over meetings that have already happened this season in that particular format. Won at Trent Bridge by 8 wickets on the 23rd of April with 30 balls to spare, and then beat Blaze at home by 4 wickets with 16 balls to spare as well. And that's straight a point from Morris. So already completed a couple of successful run chases against this opponent. Of course, won't surprise you to know Sarah Bryce of the Blaze, from her perspective, was quite keen to play that down. So they're a quality team, but it's a different format. So I think we could go out there and express ourselves and not be too worried about the results earlier on in the year. You can be a bit more free in terms of how you play the game in T20, and that's been refreshing this week. Just straying into the pads. It's always telling that an LBW doesn't have too much for it when it's only the fielders square of the wicket that are interested.
Yeah, but that's the right line to be bowling to this field. She's got a deep square and a deep fine, so Kirsty Gordon, the captain, won't mind her bowling into Sophie Morris's pads, and it's probably the plan, to be honest, because Sophie is so strong through that offside, and as we've seen so far, if you give her any width, she was likely to punish the Blaze.
A little short into the thigh pad of Morris. That's it. Another LBW appeal that verges on hopeful.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what if that had anything going for it.
I was about to say, pitching up
legs.
leg, it was going over, and it was also swinging away from the stumps as well,
Yeah.
just to
That was
just
almost
add to
a
that.
plea. If anything, the one before had slightly more going for it, but still not. But I like the aggression from Ballinger.
Yeah,
she's
a bowler that's got a presence in the way that she bowls and carries herself in a spell.
a quirky run up as well.
Yeah, and that can be awkward for a
A
batter.
little skip through the middle.
Ballinger finishes the over very nicely. So 1 for 6 off 2 for Grace Ballinger. That becomes one of those mini dilemmas for Captain Kirsty Gordon of how long she keep her going. 19 for 2 off 4, so after that expensive third over that conceded 12 all told, that one concedes just 4 and pulls things back for Blaze.
Yeah, good over from Ballinger. Again, this will be about how Gordon shuffles her bowlers about. I imagine this is the last over of the power play with 2 fielders out, or I think it might switch in the middle of the over actually, which sometimes happen when we have DLS adjusted. In fact, no, it's Kirsty Gordon to bowl this over though, which is a good decision because these power play overs are pretty important. Her first over went just for the 1 run.
Yeah, really set the tone. As Gordon this time is guided to short mid-wicket. She's someone that, again, is in the round. We talked about this at various points today, that England setup, played 5 white ball England day games against Australia in early April in Sydney.
Yeah, she's a clever bowler and a real fighter of a cricketer.
Well, they're going to go for another quick single here, and it's another run out. My goodness me. It's a second entirely preventable run out of the innings for Lancashire Thunder. You can see the reaction of Sophie Morris in frustration. She jumped up in disappointment. She knew she was long gone. Morris, who hit 2 boundaries that were 2 of the best cricket shots you'll see all day, has to go for 9. And her face is a picture of all of the emotions that cricket can take one through. And Lancashire Thunder in 19 for 3, and Blaze cannot believe their luck. Good work in the field, it should be said, from Cassidy McCarthy, but questions have to be asked, and that reaction from Morris sums it up.
Is she invisible in Thunder's eyes? Because that's 2 now.
Yeah, good
It's
point.
hit straight to her, and they've run, and both times Cassidy McCarthy's done all the groundwork, picked it up, threw it in underarm near the stumps. Keeper does the rest. Thunder are making this tough work for themselves. Sophie Morris does walk off fuming, and as you would be. But the thing that Seren Smale has to do now, you've got to park that.
Yep.
You've got to see your team home, because Sophie Morris might let you off. You can't be getting in that changing room quickly now, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
But coming to the creases, Ali Threckeld, the captain, who hopefully will bring a bit of calmness from a Thunder perspective. But Blaze, they're in a commanding position, led beautifully by Kirsty Gordon.
Captain to captain. Threckeld. A nice shot that she won't get reward for, because it's a good stop from McCarthy, and those are those mini moments. That means that Threckeld doesn't get off the mark. She looked very good for 45 off 27 on Friday at Kibworth against Leicestershire. That's it. Another nice shot, but straight driven back to Gordon. I mean, you mentioned that with Cassidy McCarthy. I think the Army, the military, the Navy are going to be getting in touch with her about whatever camouflage you're using out there. We could do with some for our operations.
That's the end of the power play.
It is like she's invisible.
So it's in 4 now allowed out. That's the quirky rule.
Because of the nature of this 16-over contest. That will be a wide.
I think though what Kirsty Gordon does so well is she all these dot balls, which is why then batters panic. They hit it and they're like, I've got to get off strike here because there's too many dots. And I mean, it's what Kirsty Gordon's renowned for. Again, what a fantastic over that is. The only run coming from it was the wide. She's picked up a wicket in the sense of a run out, but that is all credit to her. 2 overs for 2 runs. Kirsty Gordon's built pressure on her for her team. The captain's leading from the front, and Thunder 20 for 3.
So after a little more from Emily Windsor, it will be Georgia Heath.
I'm going to see Georgia Elwis come into the attack. The right arm seamer, skillful bowler. She will hit the stumps. She'll make it hard to score, that's for sure. But I hate to say it, but Thunder have got themselves into trouble with 2 basic run-outs. Cassidy McCarthy's not going to miss out on those, and they're still not easy. You've still got to execute them, but Georgia Heath, it's all happened here these first 5 overs.
I mean, it's been absolute carnage, if I'm honest. Fallen on the pads this time.
And not to Cassidy McCarthy again. They can't run to... She's at mid-wicket. She's everywhere.
It's because she's not wearing bright enough clothing. The orange doesn't stick out on the green grass. Must be.
And the gold numbers and names on their back as well.
I do like the gold numbers and names, but they're not very easy to read from a distance.
Agreed.
Unless I just need my eyes tested.
No, I'm with you. It's not just you. When the light's right, though, they stand out.
Oh, this again. Nice delivery. This is... I mean, they've been gifted a couple of these wickets, haven't they? That first run out we thought was a barbecue, and the second one was when you barbecue the bananas for dessert at the end. So...
Yeah, it's...
They'll be hoping their dreams don't go to ashes.
Yeah, and you can hear the Blaze. They're up and about, aren't they? And rightly so. And that's the type of unit they are. They certainly get stuck in.
That's nicely placed. There is a fielder out there. The sweeper, Catherine Bryce, will come round and cut it off. But these two, well, you think a lot of responsibility will fall to the captain and the youngster who's been in fine form again, Seren Smale. She's one of those that you think is definitely on that conveyor belt to England. Played in that series over in Ireland back in September.
No, she's certainly a talented cricketer.
And that's good running. Well done. High fives all round.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the previous game in the semi-finals. In both innings, a partnership's crucial here. If Lancashire get a partnership, they will see their team over the line. But if you keep getting Blaze in the game with wickets, someone else has to then start. It's going to get harder and harder, and it seems a pitch. The longer you bat on, then the runs come freely. But you've got to earn the right.
And that's called bowling to your field. Played round the corner straight to the fielder. And they come through for 1 run. Josie Groves rocking a nice gold pair of sunglasses there on that to coordinate with her shirt like that.
Yeah, it's what Elwis does so well, though, for me. She's obviously highly experienced cricketer. She knows what she wants to bowl. She knows what her options are. And she's always reliable. When I played with her at 7-5, she'd often be the person Georgia Adams would throw the ball to just to build a bit of pressure in terms of run flow, but she's always crafty and finds a way to find a breakthrough.
Fielder again out there in the deep. So again, will just be one. This is okay though at the moment. They don't want to get any further behind on this run rate, but one big over can just swing it back in their favour. That's all they need.
Well, if you look at it simply, it's 65 off 60 balls.
Exactly.
You don't have to do anything reckless as a batting unit. You'll naturally score boundaries. You'll naturally accumulate runs. So it's just taking the smart options. And don't get me wrong, when it does come a time where you might want to put a certain bowler under pressure, but it's picking who that is, knowing your strengths, knowing where the fielders are. And Kirsty Gordon, I think, is taking the decision. She had a conversation there with Marie Kelly. Do I go me again? And I think from a Thunder point of view, her bowling at the majority of overs now is good, because then she can't come back at the back end. One bowler can bowl 4, so you imagine from the start it might be her. But from this point of view, the field spread, try and find a way to get 6 off her, rotate the strike. Don't give her another wicket. That's a great start from Seren Smale.
Yeah, that's all they need to do. Just push it away. Make sure you get home. Get through for that run, because we've seen a couple of those today.
Well, make sure it goes past the fielder.
Make sure it goes past the fielder. Yeah. Farrell just threads it through the gap. It is Josie Groves comes around on the boundary, and again will just be one. But that's okay. It's all you need to do. Just push it around and then hit the bad ball. Simple cricket from up here.
From up here, that's the key.
Exactly.
Easier said than done, especially the pressure of the final. Reminder, this is a semi-final.
Again, can't pierce that ring. Yeah, this is only the semi-final. We've still got the final to come. We already had a very exciting first semi-final that managed to... We used every ball except 2 this time, because of the rain, obviously been shortened to 16 aside. But whoever wins this one will meet Surrey in the final, the first ever final in the T20 Women's County Cup, equivalent of the FA Cup, whatever you feel like calling it.
Yeah, excited for the...
We're just excited for the trophy reveal. That's what we're excited for.
I'm not worried about the game, just the trophy.
Again, just driven up to that wide long on. Again, just one more.
Yeah, smart this from these two. Navigating this Kirsty Gordon, who's the biggest threat for the Blaze, nicely. One ball remains of her third over. Lovely.
It's just copy and paste, isn't it, at the moment? Just pushing it up to the same position. There's sort of only 4 people playing this at the moment. The bowler, the 2 batters, and the fielder at long on, Marie Kelly. And it's a single to close out the over. So 5 runs coming from it. The end of 7, Thunder 30 for 3. They need another 60 from the next 9 overs.
Yeah, well bowled, Kirsty Gordon. 3 overs for just 7 runs is such a rarity to see in T20 cricket. Not a rarity, I guess, when Kirsty Gordon's got the ball in her hand. Often something's happening. She very little goes for runs. She very often goes for little runs. That sounds better. You know what I meant. Got all the words in there, just in the wrong.
She goes for long runs, but her overs go for few runs. Few? Yeah.
I think that's made it worse.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on. The pace of Cassidy McCarthy's coming on. This will be interesting. She does bring extra pace, so you're going to see 4 fielders out behind the bat. It could be an opportunity for both Smale and Threkel to use that pace to find the boundary rope.
She does try and use this one and help it on its way down to deep square. Can only... Well, just got in a bit of a tangle, really, Seren Smale.
Yeah, that's come back in quite a lot, actually, from Cassidy McCarthy. She does angle it in, usually, and bowls a heavy ball. She actually has very little run-up as well, so she doesn't approach the pitch and then bangs it in. That's a lovely shot, that.
Yes, nice looking shot. Yeah, she's also got that little skip at the beginning of her run as well. Grace Ballinger has hers in the middle, but they're about the same position, except that Grace Ballinger's already started her run up before that position, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, for a quick bowler, which Kathleen McCarthy is, it's almost halfway between the inner ring and the stump, so it's literally 4 or 5 paces.
Goes shorter this time. Threlkeld doesn't really have to do too much to duck out the way, but signalled 1 for the over there.
Good bumper.
Yeah, I like this from McCarthy.
Where does she go now? Nose and toes. I don't know why Sophie loves giving me that look.
Oh, has a waft at that one outside the off stump. Fuller this time from McCarthy. Great variation she's using in this over.
It's definitely still a bit of swing. If you look where Claridge takes that, she obviously stood back a fair way. She's almost stood back the same distance as Kathleen McCarthy's run up.
Yeah.
So she's got that pace, but she's taken that to her left, so that's come back in towards the right hander.
Oh, that's done her up.
Don't rub it.
And they'll scamper on through. It's good running in the end. Maybe the first time we've said that about Lancashire in this game.
Not going to comment.
Not going to comment.
Sophie Luff liked it, so that's all that matters.
Oh, that's all right. That's all I aspire to. Sophie Luff's approval. And that's a really good line and length and well stopped in the follow through as well from McCarthy.
I'll tell you what, the energy McCarthy's bringing to this innings. 2 run outs, impressive over from her. Just 2 runs from it, one of which is a leg by. Well bowled.
Really well bowled. 8 overs gone. Lancashire 32 for 3, so they now need 58 off 48. And I think Emily Windsor is going to step out to the side. Sophie Luff will be joining us in just a moment, but the Wiggly Worms showing us that Lancashire really falling behind here. When we looked at it and we thought 90, that should be pretty reasonable chase, but you just never know. And well, the pressure of a semi-final, the pressure of finals day, we've seen 2 run-outs that, well, were just gifts of wickets, weren't they, Luffy?
Yeah, it wasn't the best running between the wickets that I've ever seen. I think they call it a barbecue, and to have 2 of them in the innings as well is not what you want, especially chasing.
Great start this again from Elwes.
Blaze have been pretty tidy with the ball though, and put Lancashire under that amount of pressure, which means that you're trying to get off strike, you're trying to look to rotate as best as possible. I felt like it was going to be Blaze with it all to do with the ball, and they're doing it pretty well so far.
They've just bowled really good lines and lengths, actually. When you're defending something that's not necessarily a large total, but it's also quite hard to tell in a sort of 16 overs, they've just been really tidy. And that's what you can't afford to just be giving away freebies, going down the leg side, giving away no balls wides. And they've been very clinical.
As we see another dot ball there, and that's what they've created. They've bowled a lot of dot balls. Pressure just will be building on these 2. You can see Threlkeld 3 off 12 balls, Smale 11 off 24. 36 balls between them. And we wanting to make sure that they catch up and cash in.
Well, this time goes Ariel, and is it just going to have the legs? Yes, it is. Finally, Threlkeld finds the boundary. She moves on to 7 from 13.
Yes, interesting. Well, it's a great shot first and foremost from Ellie Threlkeld, but it's almost like the dot balls that Elwes has created has forced Threlkeld into that option. Love to see Lancashire be a little bit more positive at the start of the overs, trying to put the Blaze bowlers under pressure.
That's a great response, but it finds the outside edge, and it's racing down towards the boundary in front of us, and it's going to be back-to-back boundaries for Ellie Threlkeld. I mean, take the runs however they come.
Yeah, not where she intended at all, but she'll take 4 nonetheless, and that's what happens. You put the bowler under pressure, you get a little bit of luck, you know, she was looking to be more positive on that occasion, not just sort of patting it into the offside, trying to drive the ball. And yes, it's a false shot, but she picks up a boundary nonetheless.
How does Elvis respond? Full and just chipped uppishly. She'll add one more to the total. That's all you need to do. So Threlkeld will retain strike for the beginning of the next over. 9 coming from that over. 9 gone. Thunder 41 for 3. So 49 now needed off 42, but they do need a couple of those big overs just to make themselves feel a little more comfortable. And they can forget about some of their woes of earlier on in the innings. If these two can just build a partnership and just get them back in this game.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that over. It's a good over from a Lancashire perspective. Hopefully they can just generate a little bit of momentum now.
It's going to be McCarthy who's going to bowl her second. Went for just 1 run her first over. That's a great line of length. It's well driven, and they decide they are going to take the overthrows, and that's good awareness this time. Good running from Lancashire.
Very good running. Yeah, just slight lack of awareness there from a Blaze perspective. Did we really need to throw the ball there? Saw that in the earlier semi-final where there was an overthrow, and I'm not saying that cost Warwickshire the game, but it certainly helped Surrey's cause in a tight run chase. Just looking at the required run rate, you know, 7 and over, which you'd look at this wicket from up here, fast outfield, you'd think, oh, you know,
yeah,
that's pretty cruisy. We're happy with that. But no one's really scored at more than that throughout the course of today.
It's going to be wide, extra down the leg side. And actually, I spoke to the ground staff earlier, and we were talking when I was looking at the pitch, and they were saying, you know, bowl first is going to just get better and better to bat on as the day goes on. But no one's found it easy at all to bat on, really. Marie Kelly came out and had a bit of a whack early on. But there's not really anyone I can pinpoint from today who said, oh yeah, they found this a really good track to bat on. Just turned around the corner this time by Smale, so 1 more to her total. 1 more to the total, 44 for 3.
Watching it from up here though, there's no demons in it. I actually thought Lancashire bowled particularly well, the likes of Kate Cross, Grace Potts, shaping the ball away majority from the right hand, but it's not been excessive movement. It, you know, looks pretty good from a batting perspective from up here, but I think it's just the pressure of it being a semi-final just brings an element of maybe nerves and, you know, not taking the game on as we've probably seen the sides do in the earlier rounds.
That was McCarthy's 1 for the over, very short this time, in her own side of the own half of the pitch for sure. And there's the fuller one to back it up.
I know you were talking with Emily about her short run up, but a lot of her pace is generated sort of in her actual action. She's got quite a quick arm, and when you face her, it feels like the ball comes onto you a lot quicker just because of the sort of speed through the action.
Final delivery of the over, strikes Threlkeld on the pads, heading down leg. And, well, Smale not grounding her bat. And the throw came in, and you would think in this situation, you're just going to ground your bat. It's one of the first things you're taught as a batter. And when 2 of your top order have been run out, you would just do it without thinking, Sarah Smale. She's fine, she's safe, but 10 overs gone. Lancashire Thunder 45 for 3.
Yeah, we were talking about some strange run-out dismissals earlier in the day, and that's not the way you want to go either. If that is the case, that's, yeah, people talk about village cricket, and at this level you do not want to be run out because you haven't grounded your bat.
Yeah. So we're going to have a change in bowler. So Elvis is bowled 2 for now, none for 14 from her 2, and we're going to have Scotland captain and the ICC Player of the Month for April, Catherine Bryce. 1 so far for her. Went for 8 in the slower delivery this time. Threlkeld looks to cut. So starts with a dot. Talking run out, so I once was doing a game, and actually both batters turned and ran to the same end, but they were sprint, and the ball went to the other end. So they were having a sprint race, and then it was sort of a case of who had got back to that end last. They had to go to a review to sort of see it as if it was like a photo finish. Threlkeld goes aerial this time, lands just short of that Josie Groves out there.
Yeah, it might be Sarah Bryce actually.
Oh, it is actually, yeah, it's bounced up. Bounced up a lot. It sort of landed on one of those wickets out there.
Yeah, I don't often see Sarah Bryce in the field. Ella Claridge has got the gloves today.
Yeah, we saw it a couple of times in the Sydney Sixers. She's got a hold of that one. Has Seren Smale, and it's gone all the way. Smale adds 6 to her total, 6 to the total, and that's just the injection of pace this Lancashire innings needed.
Yeah, brilliant shot from Seren Smale there. You know, she's used a lot of balls up, but looks to be putting her foot down now. And yeah, great swing of the bat, lovely free-flowing swing of the blade, and gets the 6 runs that she wanted.
So 7 from this over so far. Slower, fuller. And they're going to think about a second and wisely decide not to take on Sarah Bryce out in the deep. Yeah, so she was out in the field quite a bit, playing for the Sixers over the winter with Alyssa Healy behind the stumps, but then they changed things around because Healy had that injury, so Bryce was given the gloves. She's a good outfielder as well. Swings across the line. Threlkeld not quite times, but they'll pick up another one.
Yeah, this is a good over so far from Lancashire. That run rate just hovering at that 7 runs per over mark. Don't want to see it go up to 8 and over, really. That's what Blaze will be hoping for, though, if they can create a few more dot balls.
Just squirted away. And this time it will just be 1 to finish the over, but a good over for Lancashire this one. 10 coming from it. Smale will retain strike for the beginning of the next over. So 11 overs gone. Lancashire Thunder 55 for 3. 35 needed to win. I'm going to step out, and to see you home will be Michael McCann.
Thanks, Georgie. Just running the changes on the field as well. Kirsty Gordon is going back to her left arm seamer in Grace Ballinger, who is likely to come around the wicket, which she's doing so because she's laying out her 3 bowling discs, which have been copied by recent debutant for England, Arlott, who also puts 3 discs down now.
Yeah, cricketers and their superstitions, hey? But as far as I understood it, I've seen Arlott talking about this, there is also a little method to it in terms of the cues for how those disassociate to her yardage at the start of that run.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not saying I disagree with it, but it's obviously a coaching aid.
Yes.
In some way.
Well, see, I know this is a topical point of discussion, isn't it?
So, you know, I think umpires and match referees will start to look into that, potentially.
Here's Ballinger with the keeper up. Right away for 1. The start of this over, exactly 7 and over needed for Lancashire Thunder to get themselves into a major women's domestic final. If you can't already tell.
That was a no ball. That was a no ball. They had too many out of the ring there.
Oh, well, that is something of an unenforced error.
It's, I'm not saying that's funny, but Ballinger and Gordon having a very heated discussion about whose fault that was. Oh, you don't want to be that fielder either. That's the extra one that's not meant to be out.
So that changes the shape of things. We're back to 30 balls left, and it's 33 to win. And it's a full toss, and it's gone down the ground. It hasn't gone for 4 at least. That's a consolation for Blaze. I was only about to finish and say that if you couldn't already guess from what we were saying about Emily R, that Sophie Luff is a batter rather than a bowler. And I sense that might be one of those particular debates where the lines are drawn in that particular way.
Oh, it doesn't bother me that much, really.
So that's just Chipped out by Smell. Sort of bottom arm jabbed into the ground. I mean, it reminds me of the old one about Curtly Ambrose, but there's been other examples. But the whole like, oh, can you take your red wristband off? And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then that sort of fired him up to put another 10 miles an hour on it. Ballinger in a good area outside the off stump. It's excellent keeping from Claridge. He's hunting the stumping there.
Yeah, really good take. Ballinger looking to get this ball really full. He only played against Blaze last week and she cleaned up Katie Jones. Katie Jones, really sorry, will hate me for saying this, but she cleaned up Katie Jones with a near enough unplayable Yorker. So I think that's what she'll be looking to do here.
Ballinger again, but she's overpitched. It's a low full toss and it's beautifully taken to the extra cover boundary by Seren Smale. Just guided. A calm shot of authority from a player who has started this innings a little slower than she might have liked, but is starting to grow in confidence.
Yeah, well, she sold Sophie Morris down the river, so she's trying to play her way back into the good books in that Lancashire dressing room. She knows there's nothing like, no feeling like it. If you run someone out, you want to be the one that sees it home.
Smale will get one here. Good over this is shaping up to be for Lancashire Thunder. Remember, they needed 7 and over. They've already got 8 with 1 ball left to get a little bonus on top. Yeah, that potentially frosty encounter is always helped by having a win and being into first major final across the last decade or so of KSL regional and now county cricket. Goes on the scoop and straight at short fine leg. Good backing up from Smale means that she gets there. So that's it, a decent over for Thunder. All told, they've taken 9 off it and now need 26 to win off 4.
Yeah, the last couple of overs have been expensive from a Blaze point of view. These Lancashire batters building a very nice partnership. They'll be hoping to see their side home. I always try and follow the DLS par in chases like this. DLS up to 69, Lancashire well set now, I would say, on 64 for 3, just needing the 26 off the 24 balls remaining.
You wouldn't believe what Blaze were on after 12 overs.
Something very...
Have a guess. It's not
no,
a trick question.
they were a lot more down.
They were 64 for 3.
Were they?
They were.
So that 13th over for them
lost
was...
a lot of wickets at the back end of the innings. So it's going to be fascinating to see quite what happens from here. It's a good partnership that's been built by Thunder. This partnership is rebuilt from the wreckage of 19 for 3. That'll be a valuable dot ball. Fraukeld's still looking to get into the gears that she found against Leicestershire on Friday, when she was a big part of Lancashire posting an imposing 180 for 4 batting first. That's decent contact, but deep set onside field, and Elwes will be bowling to that field, you'd imagine. Only got deep cover out on the offside.
Yeah, she'll be looking to change her pace here, Georgia Elwes. That leg side protection gives her the ability to bowl a few cutters. And she probably bowls more cutters than she does pace on deliveries.
Smells a predominantly offside player in terms of how she scores her runs. Cover point has come up into the ring. Mid-off's gone back, and there is Smell making room, and it's excellently fielded by Sarah Bryce at cover point. I feel very weird to see her not with the gloves on, but unsurprisingly excellent in the outfield as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to see either Bryce in action as much as we might like for Scotland this summer. They've had to difficulties with funding home fixtures. Elwes this time is smashed away towards deep mid-wicket. It was almost a catching chance. It's one of those horrible ones where it's a bit of a dilemma for the fielder out there. You actually did very well to make sure the ball was at least stopped, and they get 2.
Yeah, she did well in the end. Michaela Kirk out there. Don't think she picked it up initially, sort of held back and then realised that potentially could go for the catch. Save 2 nonetheless.
Again makes room smell and again picks out Sarah Bryce, as we saw earlier on in the over. Really nice over this from Elwes, drawing on all of her experience. Something of a veteran of women's cricket. One of the first women to get an ECB central contract in 2014, a World Cup winner in 2017. And even now, still very much one of the top performers in women's domestic cricket. The Blaze were delighted to get her back, but this time she's been smacked away in the gap, almost a 6 from Smell. And it rescues what had been a really tough over for Lancashire Thunder. Thanks to that boundary off the last, they get the 7 that they need from it and go to the last 3, needing 19.
Really smart batting from Seren Smell. I'm not sure whether Ellie Threlkeld had anything to do with this, but we saw her back away and try and give herself room to access through the offside. And I just feel with what Georgia Elwes is bowling, that going leg side, using all of that space out there, if you get hold of it, you get really good value. But if you don't, you can still, you know, rotate the strike, pick up 2s. I think it's just that risk and reward element, and Seren Smell played that really nicely.
So 3 overs left, and Lancashire Thunder need just over a run a ball.
Could be close again, Michael.
Absolutely could. Every chance it will. Nerves of a run chase, and remember that Blaze are a side that in recent seasons have far more experience of being at a finals day in pressure knockout games. And lost to the Vipers in the 2023 Charlotte Edwards Cup eliminator, and aside from that, have really struggled to get into these pressure knockout situations. Threlkeld and Smell put together a great partnership. Can they finish it off? Well, that will help. It might even go for 4. It does. Has managed to thread the gap there beautifully, Threlkeld. Making room with the feet outside leg and then using the hands to thread it through. That is a classy shot.
Yeah, that absolutely raced away to the fence. I was just going to say at the ball before, but it's definitely Lancashire's to lose now. You know, 7 wickets in hand. They'd be really disappointed if they don't get over the line and into the final now.
McCarthy trying to find a response. Threlkeld this time has managed to get that away. Clever batting from Threlkeld. Back-to-back boundaries. Thunder in control.
Captain leading from the front. This is a great knock from Ellie Threlkeld. Coming into her own, using the pace on the previous delivery, and likewise going to real strength of hers. Again, great position to manipulate the field, and they've even got like a long leg out there, but no chance. That's ramped very fine.
Short, and Threlkeld helps this down to deep third. We'll have to settle for 1. So 10 to win of 15, and it would mean so much to Ellie Threlkeld in particular. This is someone who really does bleed the red rose. She made her county debut as a 15-year-old. She's come right through the Lancashire pathway. She's been on this long journey. Feels, in her words, we're more mature as a group of cricketers now and playing situations better. It's felt like a long journey the last 4 or 5 years, building towards silverware. She will hope and rightly believe that this could be their day.
I think what's been brilliant for her is she's had the more experienced England players around her over the last couple of years, which has really solidified her.
And McCarthy will have to bowl that one again. It's into single figures in terms of runs required.
Yeah, she come into that captaincy role, and I think having the likes of someone like Kate Cross around a little bit more. Emma Lamb's got plenty of experience as well. I think having those girls around more often has really helped her. And she's found a role in the middle order for them brilliantly as well.
Short and pulled away convincingly by Smell, but couldn't have picked out the sweeper much better had she tried, so will only get 1 for it. Mentioned Ellie Frelko. Well, Seren Smale might have been born in Wrexham, but has played for the England under-19s, and when it comes to all things cricket, it's very much come through that Lancashire pathway as well. So couldn't think of 2 more suitable players. If you're a Red Rose fan watching this, to see your side home, potentially. So that's going to be another single, this time for Frelkeld. Still work to do though, 8 to win off 14. If you Blaze, after this delivery, it's going to be a bowling dilemma for Kirsty Gordon as to who she turns to. Catherine Bryce would seem to be one option. Gordon, Ballinger and Elwes have all bowled 3. And we haven't, to my surprise, seen Josie Groves. She's taken 7 wickets in 2 games in this competition. Coming into today, the joint top wicket taker in this newly created format.
Really interesting as well, given that Kirsty Gordon, the only spinner that's bowled so far, and she's bowled 3 overs and only gone for 7 runs.
5 for 19 against Oxfordshire, 2 for 10 off 3 against Kent for the 20-year-old. Hasn't bowled, and as far as we're aware, is not injured. Slower ball, cleverly done, and to Smell's obvious frustration, it is not a wide. So McCarthy completes that over, which is an expensive one, and leaves Thunder not quite on the brink, but not far off victory now. 7 to win off 12 balls.
You said there was a bowling dilemma, and there's 4 of them stood chatting, Michael, about who,
that's always a sign
they're
that
going to turn to.
A proper dilemma.
Lots of hands on hips.
I always think when you get up to 3, that tells you that it's beyond captain and the bowler of the next over having a conversation about what they're going to do. That's a proper who's going to do it, who's going to do it. We need to work out who's going to do it.
And after all that, she's going to bowl herself, which is the right decision. Penultimate over of this innings, most important one.
She's conceded just 7 runs off her 3 overs, which even by her high conventional levels of miserliness as a bowler is brilliant. Kirsty Gordon.
She's got to work some magic here though, even to take it into the last over. She's got to do something really, really special, which she's more than capable of. She's a massive competitor as Kirsty Gordon.
Frelkeld just doing exactly what one should do in this situation. Look for the boundary sweepers. Stick with the modus operandi that's taken her and her side to this point. 6 to win off 11 then. Down the ground from Smale.
This is good from the Lancashire pair, just taking what's on offer.
5 to win off 10. Well, I was just about to mention, are we at the point where Gordon starts to think of bringing anyone up, but she's not actually bringing anyone extra up. She's bringing square leg up, but she's dropping mid off back. Frelkeld comes down the track and takes the single out to long off. So again, that just edges Lancashire Thunder closer. 4 to win off 9. Any boundary will win it. And Gordon now again is in a dilemma. She's brought mid off up. She's continuing to have conversations with others about the field. Goes on the reverse and it's dropped. It's dropped. Well, that was the Blazes' chance to help make it a tense finish, but Georgie Boyce couldn't hold on. Lancashire Thunder get another run. Smale gets a life, and it's 3 to win off 8.
I mean, that would have been a good grab from Georgie Boyce diving away to her left.
Down the track comes Frelkeld, only picks out short mid-wicket. The game is still very much alive here. 3 to win off 7.
It's those small margins though, you know, that goes to hand. It could be a very different finish.
Sweeps this time. That's through square leg, and that's the game. Lancashire Thunder are into the final of the newly created Women's T20 County Cup, and it feels so suitable that Ellie Frelkeld, captain of the Red Rose, who's played for Lancashire Thunder for more than a decade at senior level, is the player who takes them home. alongside Seren Smell. It's a fantastic partnership, worth 72 unbroken for the 4th wicket, which means that they have conquered, statistically, the best side in T20 cricket across the last 2 and a bit seasons in the English domestic format. Blaze lose for just the 4th time since the start of the 2023 season across 22 games in this format. Something of a surprise, and a red letter day maybe beckons for Lancashire Thunder, because at just their 2nd knockout stage ever, they've dragged themselves into the final, winners with an over to spare against the Blaze by 7 wickets. Well, that scorecard tells its own story. 2 run-outs at the top, which the Lancashire Thunder dressing room will be able to have a bit of a chuckle about now, but at the time certainly didn't seem quite so hilarious for them. Kestevan gone without facing a ball. Sophie Morris hit a couple of glorious boundaries and was run out for 9. And Emma Lamb, comfortably the informed bat in the entire country, gone for a duck, having scored a ton against the Blaze earlier on this season. But Smale and Frelkeld, Sophie Love, were just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, both batters under huge amounts of pressure there. Not only that it's a semi-final, but the match situation they both found themselves in. Hats off to Ellie Frelkeld, the way that she managed that innings. Actually probably settled Seren Smale down after the mishap with Sophie Morris running her partner out there. But they're all hugging down there now, so I'm sure they're all friends, and they'll be buzzing that they're into the final. And yeah, Surrey await, and what a final it's going to be.
And exactly, they don't have much time to think about or have too much of a laugh about the run-outs, because they've got to focus on a final that starts in just under 40 minutes' time, and confirmation that the final of the first ever Women's T20 County Cup will see Lancashire play against Surrey. That's your scorecard summary of this one. We'll be back with you on this live stream for that final, which is a 6:30 p.m. local time start, so we'll be with you shortly before that, and of course we'll have news from the toss as and when. But for now, it's the Lancashire Thunder who've won the 2nd semi-final, and they will meet Surrey in the final.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that. This beautiful game, this game that we love, this game we call cricket.
We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd, and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games, and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
there, and then we're able to kind of expand as the partnership built.
You were 31 without loss, I think, but ended up being reduced to 85 for 8. What kind of went wrong in those middle overs?
Yeah, I think Marie Kelly got us off to a really good start, and then we probably just struggled a little bit against their seamers, getting it away, and obviously when you're not scoring as many runs and you're losing wickets, it's pretty difficult to rebuild through that period. So yeah, we never really built a partnership through that middle or back end period, and we know that partnerships are really crucial to winning games of cricket.
A couple of early run-outs gave you hope though, and looked pretty sharp in the field there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we spoke about before we went out to field. We got to fight really hard because we don't have the runs on the board, and it's something that we hope other teams think of us as a team that fights really hard and we're difficult to come up against. And I thought Cass McCarthy was brilliant in the field, really set the tone. And when you get a couple like that early, you get up and about, and it gives you every chance.
Obviously a very strong T20 side, having won the Charlotte Edwards Cup last year, and now it's the Vitality Blast. How much are you looking forward to that at Trent Bridge?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. There's loads of learnings that we'll take from this competition into next week, so that's really exciting that we've had the opportunity to play this competition ahead of the Vitality Blast. But I know it's a different competition, but ultimately we're looking to retain our crown as such, and we start at home, which is really nice.
Kirsty, thanks ever so much. Appreciate your time. Hope you've enjoyed the day at Taunton.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Kirsty Gordon, captain of the Blaze. Commiserations to them. Losers by 7 wickets in the second semi-final. We'll hear from Lancashire Thunder captain Lee Threlkeld very shortly. Okay, so Lancashire Thunder, congratulations to them, winners of the second semi-final by 7 wickets, and their captain Ellie Threlcold, who played a pivotal role in that run chase, joins me now. Ellie, well played. Just like in the quarter-final, you and Seren Smale doing the business.
Yeah, it's great to sort of contribute to the win in the end, but I think hard work was done first innings by the bowlers, so credit to how they bowled. It's a little bit tricky to bat on second innings, so that partnership's helped get us over the line, so I'm really pleased.
Talk me through the bowling effort, because the paces up front really restricted them.
Yeah, definitely. It felt like seam was working early, and our bowlers started off really well in the power play and hit their areas and made it really difficult for them to score. So yeah, really pleased with how that went, set the game up for us really, and hopefully they can do the same in the final.
Sophie Ecclestone, we all know about her quality and the calibre that you've got to throw the ball to. 3 wickets in the quarter-final, 3 wickets again. She's a real difference maker for you.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, she's the best in the world, isn't she? So definitely glad to have her on our team, and a bowler who can bowl at any phase of the game as well. So as a captain, that's really helpful.
Partnership of 72 between yourself and Seren. I mean, that was critical, wasn't it? Because a couple of early run-outs would have caused a bit of jitters maybe in the dressing room.
Yeah, a little bit. I think, yeah, we knew we just had to stay there really. It was a pitch that was quite difficult to get in on, so we knew we just needed a partnership, and tried to stay as calm as we could out there, which, yeah, credit to Seren, she was brilliant, so yeah, good stuff.
Out of the next few minutes, look, it's a pretty tight turnaround, assuming it gets, well, the rain stays away. How do you prepare for the final?
I think just parking what's just been and looking how we're going to win this next game. I think one more to go and we win a trophy, so what's gone's gone, and we'll be fully focused on the next sort of game.
Good stuff. Finally, have you got friends and family down supporting any of the girls today?
Yeah, my brother is here actually. Made the trip late on when he saw the forecast it got a bit better, so yeah, that's nice. So yeah, nice to have him here.
Brilliant. Go well in the final. Ellie Threlcold, thanks ever so much for your time, and many congratulations to Lancashire Thunder, who win by 7 wickets and set up a final against Surrey, which gets underway at 6:45 in the Vitality Women's County Cup finals day here at Taunton.